1, 2, yup, that's my cue. I'm big on faith, girl, it's only you. Hope the things we don't say don't be true. We was drunk in love, please don't be cruel. The glass half full, we can change the mood. Cause it tastes like grapes, but it flow like wine. We was one of a kind, yup, we all can shine. I mean, what they gonna say when the stars align, huh?
Stargazing love in the park, flying high above my spaceship. No stranger to these parts, you knew all the love faces. I gave you all that I had, and you found a way to waste it. She knew all along what went on, now it all makes sense. You had a secret, something to tell me, decided to keep it. Thought you could save me. You had a secret. You knew it would break me. You gotta leave some things alone. They're better unknown. Yeah, secret, secret. You gotta leave some things alone. They're better unknown. Yeah, secret, secret. You gotta leave some things alone. They're better unknown. Yeah.
Trying to figure out how the night gon' end. We got so much in common, I like your friends. Son spoke to my God, it's alright with him. Staring at the mirror, practicing. Man, wipe the grin off my face. Got it, music blasting, the place so crowded. Stepped out the bathroom, everybody vibing. Is she thinking what I'm thinking? I doubt it. They so close and both seem pouted. One more drink for her, gin and tonic. So rock for her, enough for me, Long Island. Hey DJ, do me one more solid. Play this song again to get things poppin'. For my pretty young thing, like we dance in private. To coke, get dumb and get retarded. They switch positions, how we got things started.
Something to tell me, decided to keep it. Thought you could play me. You had a secret, you knew it would break me. You gotta leave some things alone. Better than knowing secret, secret. You gotta leave some things alone. Better than knowing secret, secret. You gotta leave some things alone.
Shout out to Keisha Cole. I ain't ready. I'm ready, but I ain't. Better keep riding for me. We got a good show lined up. That shit you say when you just gonna freestyle that shit, but don't talk out shit.
Tell me how do you want it? Tell me how does it feel? Yeah, take it there if you coming. As long as you keep it real, something special for you. This song is meant to impress you. These words is how I address you. So we can slide like a chess move to get fresh in the restroom. If we make it to the bedroom, sky is a limit for your leg room. Carry the weight on my shoulders. Got carry the weight like I own it. Beating up on my opponent. Girl, I wanna knock you out, make you smile, make you say things like I love Royale. Even when I ain't around, I really wanna make you proud. Take you out, eating me just a pound. Take you south, just to eat. No treat or cream all over your. Tell me how do you want it? Tell me how does it feel? You can take it there if you coming, as long as you keep it real. So you tell me how you want it. Tell me how does it feel? You can take it there if you coming, as long as you keep it real. He won't do it like me, nah. He won't fuck you like me, nah. He can't do it like me, nah. He won't fuck you like me, nah. He won't street it, eat it, beat it. He won't fuck you like me, nah. He can't do it like me in the language of your body. She more than a dime, no penny pinching. Started out Henny sipping, trying to get her wet enough to skinny dipping. Any religion, no offense, God is mentioned. She just venting, releasing tension. When you winning, people listen. Trick or pimping, me I'm different. I speak to listen, so you can call me up if you free tonight. Dinner served, we're gonna eat it right. Left alone, what you need in life. Missing love, kissing hugs, his and hers, sipping bub and full body rubs. Homie must be tripping, cause he don't even know what your body does. Moving like that, like you tell me how you want it. Tell me how does it feel? You can take it there if you coming, as long as you keep it real. So you tell me how you want it. Tell me how does it feel? You can take it there if you coming, as long as you keep it real. The body language you speak, make them say I want free. It's making it rain, paying a fee. Keep climbing, reaching that peak. Been going hard all week, and I know it's hard to be me. She make you wanna go deep. Turn around, let me see. Turn around, let me see. This could be a song about G. Cause girl, you got me on E. Tripping off of that piece. Tripping off of that piece. The way you move it with ease. Yeah, do it again if you please. Rock your world and then freeze. The body language you speak. Make everybody won't see. The way you move it with ease. Nigga, do it again if you please. Make me wanna go deep. Turn around, let me see. Turn around, let me see. The body language you speak. He won't do it like me, nah, he won't freak you like me. Nah, he can't do it like me, nah, he won't freak you like me. Nah, he won't treat it, eat it, beat it, he won't freak you like me, nah. He can't do it like me in the language of your body. Girl, tell me how do you want it? Girl, tell me how does it feel? Girl, you can take it there if you coming. Girl, keep it real. So you tell me how you want it. Girl, tell me how does it feel? You can take it there if you coming. As long as you keep it real. The body language you speak, make everybody want to see. The way you move it with ease. Nigga, do it again if you please. Make me want to go deep. Turn around, let me see. Turn around, let me see. The body language you speak. Tell me how do you want it? Tell me how does it feel? We can take it there if you coming. As long as you keep it real. Showtime to shine. Don't stop, it's showtime to shine. Puerto rich like rich Porter did go from. 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 Coordinated the greatest collaboration of rhymes, the greatest of all time. They plotted to try to stop me from making it to my prime. I made it into your mind, hit a cadence and it grind. Get straight in your spine like who that? Feel a vibe as a riser, but with demise, all eyes on me like Steve Jobs on me. I can slim out, come. I can rent out Trump, talking penthouse, not get out one. Seen ships get sunk. I press the button and level them all, and then I jump like what up? Now nobody alive for front. I back it up with the illest, fearless flow, the realest road on people like a table with lines of coke and think sweet till it spoke. I spark hope like my soul is saved, perfection. I promote the golden age, it's what I call resurrection. Hustle. I said grind. Yeah, don't stop, it's showtime to shine. Don't stop, it's showtime to shine. I was born in the belly, beast mode, New York City. I got family that don't know me really. Monetize what don't kill me. Hustlers, larger than life, my glow different, custom fit. Rap Afghanistan, I must admit, my lines too dope to kick, too cold to slip, so potent, get dropped in the open ocean, floating, still hot cause they know I spit. Lava's lava, I block the sky, they can't dodge us. Wanna hear me testify? I breathe Harlem, golden age got them, modern day got them. Give it all you got to top me, I keep rising. Mr. Royal, loaded, locked in, poet, prophet, teenage actor, you know it's popping. A hitman like I go with Jocelyn till I'm big as Shaq, shoes with Oprah's pockets. Yeah, I'm hip hopping, it's still no stopping. The evidence, the president's comments, the streets more involved, the feds is watching, irrelevant. Anybody saying they better than the pen with the medicine. Suicide, sedative, step in the mind of a madman, dead or alive, all-time great veteran vibe. Yeah, hustle. I say grind. Yeah, don't stop, it's showtime to shine. Don't stop, it's showtime to shine. Don't stop, it's showtime to shine. Hustle, hustle, hustle. Jeez. Fun times, fun times. Yo. Okay. So we made it to week number 6. Shalom, Hotep. Blessings. Thank you for joining the live. The last one was amazing. Nice numbers. Might have been the thumbnail, might have been the timing, whatever, but at least we here. Lucky was popping. Lucky was goody. Okay. And you see, I got the purple on for
for the whole show. We're gonna get right into the get right into all the. Okay, James, what's popping with you? All right, yep. All right, so we got some. I had to take some notes because with all the calls and all the and everything going on. First, Biden is the president. So anybody who hasn't come to that realization, got to come to that realization. And I want to take 2 seconds, 2 seconds, real quick. 2 seconds. All right. Yeah. So, and I'm saying Biden is the president just to remind people because I get DMs still. I get those text messages and all those messages like, yo, the plan, trust the plan, the Q thing, and all of that. Yo, I ain't got to backpedal shit. If you check last show, everything I said was this is reality and this is what we want to project. Like in prior shows before that, it was nothing to do with any of that. It was just this is all scam, regular stuff that's happening. And just to get into that space real quick before we can even, build and touch on any of that other stuff, is just more like when like all these like psyops, psychological operations were meant to distract you from people like me. All those people that are like, oh, he kind of remind me of Royale or whatever, like all of those, and distract you from people who actually had valid and solid messages, right? Now, as an entertainer, I can entertain you all day, man. We could play the games. You know what I'm saying? Like I could freestyle a story and make up some stuff, but anything that I said, I'm solid on. Anything that I say, I stand on it as far as with the information. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm playing, I'm playing. If I'll be like, yo, I'm joking. Or if I'm gonna say something fantastical, like I'll be saying, like if I'm gonna say something I'm gonna pre-warn you. And that's what I tell all the brothers in the community. Like, don't go talking like you really about this life, etc., etc., and then turn around when it's that time to turn up and that time to be for real about it. You don't show up. You somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? You're not a frontline dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you talking like you're a frontline dude online, or you talking crazy or talking reckless and not giving them the disclaimer that you're just an entertainer. You got what I'm saying? Like I'm an entertainer, but at the same time, been frontline the entire time. Like everything I said, I'm right there. Like where we going to go? What is whatever the message was, I stood behind the message, followed through, and came back with the information to validate, like, yeah, this works or this doesn't work. And pretty much that's what our community, like the realistic people, like people that's like in real life, like that's the message. Like you got artists and rappers and entertainers and all different type of people that go online or go on a record and whatever and say some of the most outlandish, craziest thing. But when it's time for real life stuff, they just not there. So all that to say, like, it's the same deal when it comes to whether a conscious community, a truth movement, the patriot movement, the Q movement, whatever these movements are. The only thing I keep drilling is integrity. There's no integrity. Like, and the few times, like, I use the hashtags, you know what I'm saying? I use the hashtags, and I'm sure people thought, like, don't lump me in with the guys. But yeah, I'm in the smoke. I'm right in the middle of there. I told you I got to be in the middle of all that action because there's a lot of young people that do need the information and are searching for information, and they go into those spots first. They go into the gram, whereas before everybody was going straight to YouTube. YouTube is flooded with mainstream propaganda nonsense that just knocked everybody else out first. Like YouTube was the first to get clipped. So everything else, like Twitter and TikTok allows a lot of information to get on because they from another site, from another country. So like how you see RT, they'll give you real shit. You know what I'm saying? Like whereas like CNN and the rest of these mainstream sites, they gonna BS you to death. That's why the statistics, their polls are like, yeah, people don't believe their news anymore. Like no matter how massive their programming is, nobody believes them anymore. And before we really get into the Biden conversation or any of the Trump and any of that other stuff, like, we just got to be clear about that. Like, don't lump me in with the rest of those characters. I ain't this ain't a show where I got to backpedal shit. I ain't got to backpedal nothing I ever said from day one, from back to 90 something 2000, 2010. Nothing. My first prediction was no morals. I will post that on my Instagram anyway, with the shit with no morals, meaning I already knew as a young man, as a young man, my first prediction was things are going to be royal, and at the same time, shit is going to be no morals. It's going to be either people going to realize, and the way I spell it is where it's no more rules, right? And it has multiple meanings, and that's what I understood. Even when the adults around me at that time was they didn't understand what I meant when I said that. They didn't understand what I meant when they seen it on my shirt. You know what I'm saying? When I'm walking in the record labels and this and that, trying to shop a demo and all that shit with the shit on my shirt. They like, yo, what's that mean? You spelled it wrong and all of this other stuff. Not understanding, like, in the future, it's only going to boil down to these two things, and people will societies is either going to be at a point where they're going to have integrity, or shit is going to fall to pieces in some chaotic either bootleg revolutionary hallucinatory thing, which is what we experienced. And again, that's from childhood all the way moving out, throughout the rest of the thing. So when I see the young dudes posting on the TikTok and the gram or whatever, and they posting, the information with the Q. Now they young, they like 15, 20, you know what I'm saying, trying to dibble and dab in the information. But then you got the older people, the people that's like, fam, like, you like 30, like 35, you 40, you 50, and you still trying to trust the plan and lying to these kids because you want the fucking clicks. And that's all it be. It don't be no more, no less. These delusional adults that stuck on the fucking trust the plan, Q anonymous, and the next drop is coming in. I got to dig into that shit, because soon as I seen them say JFK Jr. was going to come back alive. JFK Jr., like, as if they don't really kill people. Like, they really kill people. Like, Dr. Sebi ain't coming back alive. You know that. Like, certain people we know, like, they killed that man. They killed what's homie from the Panthers? Huey Newton. Like, we ain't, like, come on, man. Like, since when we gonna believe Huey Newton is gonna come back? Like, yo, as soon as we get the movement back, Huey's coming back. Like, we don't believe none of that stuff. So why all of a sudden, we get in this space, and we get happy with the clicks, and we get happy with the vibe, and all of a sudden we think JFK is going to come back to life? Are you fucking kidding me? Soon as I seen that, I'm like, yo, stop. Like, I kept trying to edge him, but the shit got flooded. You know what I'm saying? Like, it got flooded with a lot of new people. That community in general is what I'm saying. It got flooded with all this pertains to the conversation. It got flooded with a lot of new people that just was new to, like, consciousness, information. And that's what happened with with other communities. Like, that's why I was like, yo, I'm familiar with people, like, kind of being new to new information, because prior to the internet, we was just going straight to DVDs, or prior to that was VH tapes or whatever. So in that space, it's just a little more difficult to keep altering your conversation daily. Like, if that's the tape, that's the tape on a DVD. You know what I'm saying? Like, if that's what you said, that's what you said. We got to live with that. Every lecture that Dr. Ben gave, or every lecture that Ashar Kwesi or Ivy Van Sertima or Dr. Amos Wilson, we got to live through that until the next lecture, until the next joint drop or whatever. But now with the internet, like, fam, I could drop every day, or I could drop every week, or you know what I'm saying? Like, I could, and most of these people, like, they can change their conversation every day, which is good and bad. It's a double-edged sword. What's good about it is the fact that you can stay up to speed, stay up to date, and it's you can just keep the energy up if that's the case. If we was in a space of needing that consistent thing, and right now, like, I can do that, but I'm like, the main thing right now, what's needed, people got to. Shit is moving so fast. Like, trust me, I got content that's like already 20 years worth of content to keep going. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, fam, if I keep moving fast, I'm competing against a computer, against an algorithm, against people with no integrity, no like integrity is again something I learned in the military. We learned loyalty in the streets. You could be loyal to the wrong thing, and a lot of people are loyal to the wrong thing. They was really loyal to this thing. They was really loyal to the trust the plan thing. You know what I'm saying? Like I rock with the Trump vibe. I like the patriotic and all that again, but my main thing is I rock with the truth. We fight for the truth. We fight for constitutional, men and women, standing on a square and being responsible for their actions and don't hurt nobody with all the nonsense that you're doing. So soon as you see people saying things like, Kennedy's going to come back alive and all of this other stuff, like all of a sudden that you throw the whole thing in the garbage. Now, that CIA stuff, like maybe you don't, but I'm going to tell you, like I told anybody who did listen or don't listen, keep going back to all the shows. The Other Lives is crazy. The other lives are official. Let me lift this chair. The Other Lives are official. I'm going to log into, I'm going to check on what you're talking about. Brother Bates is in there. You didn't know who's running the government, the military, Joe Biden. Okay, we could talk about that. J. True was popping on Rawyal from Holland. Okay, we got Holland in the house. You know what I'm saying? Today, riots break out all over the country due to the curfew. Okay, just got started now. 2:00 in the morning tomorrow. The whole country is going to demonstrate in war now. Damn, y'all are okay. See, y'all getting busy. Okay. Indeed, 18 lucky. All right. So, Biden, the president, confirmation, the plan is not ours. Okay. I'm beginning to think some of these people aren't actually people, but their programs, yes. Okay. So let me. All right. So, Brother Bates question came at the top first. So first, is like, yes, you say, is the military running the country or is it Biden, right? I got a post. You see when I do my post now, I didn't get knocked off line like everybody else. A lot of people got clipped. Like a lot of people that be, knee deep in the conspiracies and all that other stuff are no longer online, right? Now everybody know, like, nigga, that's pure entertainment for me. Like I love all of that stuff. Like, look at my paintings. These are paintings that I do. I put it on the shirts. Look at these paintings. I don't know if you can see it. I put the paintings on the shirts. This is 9/11 stuff. A couple of more I'll get into or whatever, but I'm all for all of that, right? But I didn't get knocked offline because after the first YouTube restrictions and shadow ban and all that other stuff, fam, I was swamped. I was like, okay, hold on, wait a minute. Let me start again. Let me figure it out. And my new approach was like, let me figure out what this algorithm is doing and how to work around it where my message and my music and my content can stay online without jeopardizing, my brand, my message, et cetera, right? So yes, I'd be swamped with a lot of strategies and thinking, et cetera. But strategically, when I make a post, everything is strategic about it, whether it's the music there, whether it's the message, whether it's the picture, because some pictures I can't put in the front. I know it would be a click and it probably would move, but then, the way things are now, you see like the young kid, the young dude just got knocked offline, like, and a lot of dudes, that's what the labels, like on the mainstream labels, a lot of them are telling their artists, all the mainstream labels are telling the artists to shut up. Like they're literally telling all of them to stop with the conscious shit, right? So which leaves space for a lot of independent artists like myself and anybody that work with me, right? Where, you got a space where you can actually, have a little space to breathe without the competition from a mainstream artist pushing their bootleg message that they're going to be told by their label. They get yanked by the chain to go sit down and shut up, right? because the mainstream labels are like not on our, not on our time type shit or whatever. So now all that to say, one of the posts was about the military not handing over the keys. And this morning, like say I think like brother Rawyal, right? He hit me. He left a message on one of the other posts saying something. Watch what the military do. Whatever. Right now, as a military person, I'm a former U.S. Marine, right? And it's not a lot of it's not a lot of Marines that I would say like okay, or just not just Marines. Like I'm just gonna say most of the military people that come in and come out of sound mind and body are few and far in between, right? Because a lot of people go in and actually get brainwashed. So I don't know if you understand that, but I'm gonna just move past that. Meaning, I just understand the inner workings of the mindset of the military people, the mindset of the people that trained and programmed and taught the programs, and the mindset of the chain of command, etc. Right? I post one of the posts that I post was tied to a military conversation. Now, I had this post on other pages, but they came specifically to the Mr. Rawyal page, and I got the little message that said, "Hey, that message is no longer true." Right? I was like, "Huh?" It's like because it just was one of those magical messages that just popped up on my phone. And I was like trying to press stuff, where you can say, do you want to dispute it or whatever, like anything like that. And it disappeared. I couldn't, I wanted to screenshot it and all of those things, but it disappeared. But they said also my post disappeared. Like the post is no longer there on the page. It was the post with Biden with the Ukraine thing when he was talking with the big face of Biden and he was there. It's not in my archives. The shit is gone. Like they knocked it off the page. Like I'm sure people, you understand that at this point. And that saying that was meaning like they handed the keys over to him. So the military, a lot of the dudes want the smoke. Like they do want to go and, just roll up with the tanks and kill people. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe not here, but in other countries or other spaces, you know what I'm saying? Because they got these expensive fighter planes and stealth bombers and drones and other military equipment, and that shit is fun to use. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just like that is some people's thrill. Some of these guys thrill. So you see, they won. They get back to work. They went straight back to business as usual, and meaning, um, you know, although a lot of during Trump's 4 years, it was very like he made the military brand feel romantically better. Like it just felt better. They called it patriots and things like that. Whereas now, like with the Biden, right off the rip, now I understand, from the inauguration, just having them come there just to fill up the space because nobody was going to show up because fam said he got 80 million people. Now, just because 80 people, 80 people, was like, yo, Biden or anybody but Trump, 80 million people. We can go and talk more about like how that is virtually impossible for somebody from his era to generate that type of energy um, with no one watching him, no one caring about what he says, where he go, no one there, no one at all. But anyway, let me see if let me make sure your message come through because YouTube has been blocking people's messages for some random reason. So, to long story short, to answer your question, brother Bates, the military is always on their own time, but always on the United States and American dime. And they don't want to lose that contract. they already got trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars. They was just giving, a trillion here, a trillion there. Every stimulus package, they was damn near getting $1 trillion. So, and I'm sure with this next package, they wanted another trillion, or another, few hundred billion. So he got the keys, man. Like it's all back to what we know from George Bush. It's all what we know from Lyndon Johnson. It's all what we know of Barack Obama. Like Trump was just like, from the words of George Soros, a temporary phenomenon. Like thus it was. It's like, oh, what do you call it? Like a temporary anomaly or phenomena, whatever. But it was just something where his mindset was, okay, yeah, I'm a corporatist, I'm a businessman, but I can't. He's in the mix, even just because of his ego, because of his energy of being a show off and liking the energy of being able to walk in the crowd and, you know, WWF, you smell what the Rock is cooking, and just feel the energy of the audience. He's that guy. He want to hear the audience scream for him. He don't want people not liking him. That's the best thing. That was the best thing that we had going for us, was using the energy of his ego to cater to things that we want, because he's going to give us the crumbs that we never got, and the little, it was kind of bigger than the crumbs. The little things that he did give us, we never got before. And we're going to get into that conversation, because James hit me up earlier and he was going in on me. And I got some questions that he had for me like that. But so yeah, just to answer that and to simplify it, is back to what we know from before. Military abides to the president. He's the president. That's what it is. It's no like they're doing anything other than what they was doing before. Shit is just functioning normal. Quote unquote, whatever you call normal. And blessed with be smart with J True. If you're saying you in Holland and they friggin' protesting over there, you gotta be smart about the protest and things. That's because see, in the US, the way they run things in the US, these corporations, all of them be having the plan mapped out, and they come together with other nations. And that's what that whole Paris Accord was about. All these nations came together and made this plan. It was Barack Obama, Bill Gates, and the rest of these characters standing on the stage, and you see them. It's all documented, that they, made this agreement to do what's happening right now. And I seen years and years and years ago things that they would do to strategically make people riot, and then see which way they go and how to usher people into certain blocks, the weapons that they wanted to test on people, whether it was sonic, whether it was heat, whether it was projection. That, like I seen all of these different things, and it's like that's why strategically certain things you do, certain things you don't do, certain things like the lockdowns and the rest of those things. I understand you gotta let the government know, you gotta let these politicians and all of these corporations know, like, yo, we're human. They're running off a computer, that they're literally running off of a simulation that Bill Gates created. Like, literally, they're running off of the profit that they how, like, I could prophesize something, or I can forecast something, right? So when you watch the news, anytime you watch the weather channel, for instance, there's a computer. It's a supercomputer. It takes a supercomputer, one of the fastest computers on the planet, to forecast where the clouds are going to go. These computers are some of the most powerful computers on the planet, and right up under those computers are like 3D animation movie computers, right? Like the high tech video game real time animation computers. Like those are like fast learning, fast reacting computers. Whereas the Weather Channel computers, those computers are able to forecast 7 days, sometimes 2 weeks in advance, what the weather will be. And about 7 out of 10 times they're correct. So this same method, the same science is used to project what's going on now. Like Bill Gates' projection was, yo, this is what we're going to do. This is how people are going to react. And they feed some information into a computer and they read back the data, right? And they say, okay, look, the computer said people are going to do this. And again, when it comes to computer programmers and that space of, people who are consistently isolated, they don't understand actual human nature. Everything to them is a social experiment. That's why all they want, just think about, like, I be like, these guys try to troll me on Twitter and shit, and I've been trolling people since I was like a child. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just learned from the military on, because my sister would rag on me for playing too much and stuff like that. So it took me going to the military to say, let me get some discipline, because I got a son, and I want to actually not crack a joke at every turn or whatever. So it took time for me to even calm down, for not to make not make a joke out of everything or whatever. But these guys are like the guys in the class that, or some of them never even made it to the class. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're hyper genius when it comes to mathematical equations about this and that, but they don't know how to talk to a woman. They don't know how to interact, with naturally interact with a group of people. Like, they didn't learn that as children, because they were isolated just so they can learn this computer program like Bill Gates. So these are the people that are making the programs. These are the people that are running the platforms. So that's why you can get explode. That's why you can get everything that like TNA, tits and ass shit, explosions, killing, murders, fights, just naked women, and all, like the things of a juvenile thing, like the mindset. Like, yes, they might be 40, yes, they might be 30, but this girl told me, a good friend of mine, she says, yo, we look at men. I don't know if all women do this. I don't know, but she told me, they look at men, or the reason why a younger woman would be attracted to an older man is because they see a man as whatever his age is, they minus 10 years. They say that is his maturity. And I didn't take offense. I just was like, that's interesting to know. You understand? So, like, she had her reasons for what she was going to do. I ain't even going to put her on blast like that. I ain't going to go into all of that. But that mindset of, just if they're 35 or 45 and you minus 10 years from that, and then thinking about them sitting in front of a computer and they see this girl, you know what I'm saying, who's posting it, like, all they care about is those things, you know what I'm saying? And now they're getting to the point where even the women are becoming artificial, as far as like 3D animation, artificial intelligence are now the influencers. Like, they're doing things like that where they won't have to rely on this girl or that girl. Now they can actually. So all of these protests and all of these riots and all of these things like that, all of these things are pre-planned. And not saying pre-planned by the people, not saying pre-planned by this small organic organization, because I triple dare you. I triple dare you try to organize with people in your community. Maybe Holland is different, but in Harlem, and Rochester, and Oklahoma, it's just to gather a large community of people at the same time, on the same wavelength, to do the right thing at the right time and move in sync, takes money, takes a lot of uh, a lot of cooperation that the internet has just destroyed because although you can get cooperation, it's very difficult. It's very difficult to say, okay, tomorrow this is what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like other than buying a Beyonce album or something like that. People are swamped with regular life stuff. So it's not like these things are not organized by bigger organizations and corporations that intend on paying the police extra overtime, intend on doing things like that. So I'm telling you, if you're going to go out there for any of these protests, just be hyper aware, because you see, even with the DC protests in America, what winds up happening is, okay, these guys are put there by this group, and Congress approve these people and this and all of this just to bring in the military, just to do this and move that piece and do that. And then you had stragglers. That's regular straggling people that just showed up just to be a part of the cause, which in reality it was the right thing to do, but in reality it wasn't enough real people there. So what wind up happening is the real people that went there get in trouble. Everybody else, Soros then bailed half of these guys out, or whoever. I don't want to, because you know how they George Soros fact check. George Soros didn't do it. It was this guy or that guy, whatever. All I know is a lot of these guys are getting bailed out or not even doing any time. But then you got people who are doing time. You know what I'm saying? Same crime. Some get time, some not getting time. And some of them are brothers that's getting the time. And you know, you know, RP Hank Aaron. Let me see what you're talking about. Short term anomaly. Right. Because he was like 2020. Thank you for that info. Yeah, definitely. But Dutch people are nuts. And yes, they have money. That's the problem. Okay. So even if that's the case, right? The internet, like, see, I'm not right in the heart of New York City anymore, right? So I've been in this town, that town, this place. Like, so what happens is a lot of people in different spaces, different towns, they feel like my town or my space or where I live, my whatever is not New York City, right? And I tell anytime I get a chance, I tell people anywhere, the internet has leveled the playing field. That's why they were able to shut down New York City on New Year's of all times. Of all times, you shut down New York City of all places. New York, they shut it down so Anderson Cooper and Andy Cohen can sit there and have a couple's squabble and kiss along with de Blasio and his wife with the friggin' pedo thing on her face. Now, that New York City is a money city, like, but they already got the money from the bailout, from the so they like all these cities and all these countries, they already got the money in real life because they getting the money from what we're doing here. They're getting like I get point zero zero. Matter of fact, I'm lying. I don't get shit. You know why? Because this channel is not monetized. You know why? Because they monetize it, demonetize it. Then they say, okay, look, okay, you did good last week, but we not, you know what? It's demonetized because we changed the rules soon as we seen you accomplish the other goal. So now what we need you to do is 7 trillion hours, right? That's it. 7 trillion hours. You got to get 40,000 like press the like button. You got to get 40,000 likes. They make up these random rules, but they get money from it. You understand? So if this channel was monetized, when it does become like I'll get 0.056, a fraction of a penny. You know, there's an entire dollar that comes with that. Every click is an entire dollar, but I get a fraction of a penny. The rest of these people get so all the money that's being generated is being generated from the clicks. That's where these, I see like a lot of the young people and a lot of the old holding on to the old way of thinking. They think it's the old school capitalist mindset. And again, capitalism has been dead for a really long time. Only the word capitalism is alive. Capitalism hasn't been around since 1871. What you've been dealing with is corporatism. Corporatism is not capitalism. Corporatism is something not completely different, but it's completely different. Like it's like um it gave like capitalism gives birth to corporatism. Corporatism has just gave birth to what I have labeled cyberism. If you hear that word, it's mine. It's mine. Just so when you hear, yo, it's cyberism, yo, brother Royal, just credit me. You know what I'm saying? But it's cyberism. This is what we're dealing with: cyberism, Uber, Amazon, um, all of these things. That's cyberism, and we're just moving more and more. Like we're in the beginning stages of cyberism, what somebody else might call the Matrix. You know what I'm saying? So it's just the building up till you can get to the height of cyberism, and that's where they can say, "Yo, we'll cut off the power." You cut off the fucking power, and there's people already living without no power. Like that's not going to affect everybody, but um, when they got all of those, when as Elon Musk, who's shooting up 7,000 satellites a month, this company's shooting up 5,000 a month. That company's shooting up 1,000 a month. This company over there is shooting up 500 a month. Like as they flood the skies with these satellites, and then change up the internet, change up the speed of this and that. Then if you cut that shit off, then at that point, then it's detrimental to finances and how things run or whatever. Right now, it's like they can still find you and punch you in the face because when the sun comes out, they're gonna be like, all right, cool. It was Chuck Schumer, or it was Nancy Pelosi, or it was whoever the president of your country is, or whatever. Like that is still the mindset right now. Like people still can say, you know what, I'm really upset and I'm this and that, but I know who did it. You know what I'm saying? Whereas like in a few years time, which they already projecting it to be like, whether it's 2035, 2050, 2040, like these are things that they're working towards, where my generation and a lot of the guys prior to prior to me, they still kind of like stuck on like this whole word capitalism, and don't even know that corporatism is coming to an end, or came to an end. They're pretty much using the corporatists to create the problems and eat themselves. Let me see what the family talking about. Let me see. Constantly moving the goalposts. Definitely, I understand, but the people in Netherlands and Dutch are one of the rich people. Yeah, no question. That's right. Um, yeah. So now, first, like always remember, the real money is the people. The real money is what people do. Like that is the real wealth. That's people are the currency. Like all the other stuff in reality, like it's nothing. Like what I'm saying, like we're playing along, like yeah, I want the money and this and that or whatever. But the reality is, like slave, quote unquote, chattel slavery, captivity. That shit was about people. You know what I'm saying? Like that whole orphan train movement that they had, where they was kidnapping white people and incubating, just creating babies. 200,000 just random orphans that they had for slave labor or indentured servitude. It was always about the people and what the people do and don't do. What you want the people to, how you can, create that space. So I'm saying that to say, meaning like, even if you're, even if you have a lot of money in the bank, right, or you have a lot of money, right, um, if there are a lot of people that are focused or not focused, that's what matters. Like the people's actions. So if the government is corrupt and the people are rich, then the people have an opportunity to to buy into that government. But if if you're saying your government is too rich, but pretty much like the bottom line for any of these protests right now, they're all coordinated by people like George Soros. I can't blame him for yours because I haven't really seen the full story with that. But he's on record saying, taking credit for causing a stir. The CIA is infamous for doing stuff like that. They're infamous for going to countries, stirring up. So that's why when it came to like the pandemic for us, it was like, wait a minute. How are they saying it's Trump when everybody's dealing with the same thing at the same time? Like he's scrambling to keep the economy open and keep things moving. And everybody's like, oh, it's your fault because they just wanted somebody to point at. But other countries, and as you can see live in real time, the brothers from Holland saying like, "Yo, we got problems. Trump ain't their president. Like you understand? Biden ain't their president, but they actually still other countries have issues at the same time. So how they deal with their issues is can be worked out in a logical way, but at the same time, like you're still dealing with the same demon. Like you're still dealing with these these what we call a deep swamp, and what we call like the globalists, elites, or whatever. Like these guys already mapped out how long they want to drag it out. You know why? Because there's construction that they didn't finish, so they need to stall out to 2022. Some of them saying 2025. They want people to do this so you can react. Boom, now you need the chip, or boom, then you can react and now you need the vax, or you know what I'm saying. So that's the space that you're playing in. So some stuff is damned if you do, damned if you don't. But at the same time, it's like you got to be smart and you got to be strategic about not getting caught up in a Hegelian dialect type of situation where it's problem, reaction, solution type of thing. You don't want to get caught up with them controlling a narrative that you should know better. Like, yeah, you don't want to be locked down, but they listen to the computer. Make sure you make noise online. Like keep making sure the computer knows that that's not what y'all want. You go in the streets, just be smart if you're going to hit the streets with shit like that. Just go in the streets, hit stuff like that. So let me try to do something that I don't know if brother's still on whatever James, but I'm gonna try to, because he definitely asked me, because I had this thing with with the whole in America. I gotta come back to touch home base again. Touch home base again. With the whole like Biden, few days, him being swamped already, eliminating 70,000 jobs the first day in office. Having the troops sleep in a garage. Now we done slept all over like as a military person, we done slept in dirt, all type of stupid shit. But you would think like, it's the president, and all of a sudden, so it took, Trump and a few other people, few senators that, that did come down and try to give him some food, and, he let them stay in a few of his hotels, and, but it's like what's happening. It's again two paradigms for him now. Like the Trump paradigm, like that fantasy. I know a lot of people who might lock in, who might see this now, might see this later on, want me to play around with that bullshit. I'm not playing around with that stuff, man. Like he's out of office. As soon as he walked away, he saved his life. You got what I'm saying? Like he already said it on record. He said, yo, these billionaires, it's a lot of them that don't really rock with me. I want to fall back for a little while because they're crazy. They want what they want. So around that time, he said he wanted to take a break just so they could get their shit off their chest or whatever they was going to do. Right now, again, most like helping people is all good. Now I get on here, I say whatever I say, whatever I say, and then I talk to some people, and and you just see what certain people do. They do the complete opposite. You say, "Yo, don't go on that block because this and that," and they go straight down, and they get caught up in the nonsense. So when you helping the people, and when you really like sincerely care, and you doing this and that, and you see the pushback, like when I was in the streets and I'm telling the people like, "Yo, I figured out how we can, definitively narrow the conversation to get reparations." And the brothers gave me pushback. You know what I'm saying? Like called me out of my name and all different type of things just because they just wanted me to be wrong. There's so many people that's like they log on and they come in and like, oh, like I don't want to share your conversation or whatever because I don't want you to succeed. And I'm like, I'm doing this actually for you. Like, again, I'm an artist. I can blend the fuck in. I can, like, I don't have to do this stuff, man. Like, I can just, do my little paintings and stay the fuck quiet and make my little music and, what I'm saying, under anonymous names and be the fuck over there. Like, write for other people. Like, you heard the first song that came on. Like, I write songs for other people. Like, I write for R&B and pop and all that shit. Like, I don't really have to do. And when you're doing this stuff and people attack you and not like I got thick skin, and even Trump got thick skin, but man, like the ability and the time when you say, yo, you could take a break, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, he said he wanted to take a break. He wanted to take a break after he felt like, yo, I'm about to landslide this dude. The numbers came in. He said, I'm landsliding them. It's 10 o'clock. I'm about to take a nap. Wake me up when they give me the real numbers. And I'm gonna take a 2-week vacation. Then they say, yo, fam, 2 o'clock in the morning, random bots is just going crazy. Explosion with the BS. Lisa O'Brien, what's goody? What's going on? President Trump's coming back, don't you? Reform Republic is coming March 4th. All right, now look. Maybe okay. Now I seen that and I know that and I seen those messages, etc. Now again, Trump is chilling. He's chilling. Like Giz is chilling. Trump is chilling. He's cool. He's cool. And the republic that the people feel, I'm gonna tell you, this is now because we could play guessing games, right? We could play guessing. Like I'm strategically, I think I'm really good. I think he's figuring out where the money's at. He was the president. He figured it out. In New York City, got to use New York City as an example. This is what happened. In New York City, we got this guy. Yeah, it doesn't like he's cooling. He's like, I understand he's freezing assets and this and that. Like, this is what happened. In New York City, this guy, Bloomberg, right? He came in only $3 billion, right? He figured out where the money was at. He walked out 23 billion, right? They said right as he wanted to leave, he was approached by, you already know, high powered, you already understand. Whether you do it, you don't, do some homework, protocols of Zion, read up on certain things, you know what I'm saying? They approached them and they said, nah, stay in office for another term. That's where that other illegal third term came from, right? So within that extra term, he leaves with 60 billion, I believe. I believe he's at 60. So understand, he came in with 3 billion in New York City alone. He walked out with like 60. Now, Trump, again, as a strategist, he walked out with his life because Abraham Lincoln, it didn't work out. They tried to kill Andrew Jackson. Not saying he was the best president, but when he pushed against the bank, they had somebody walk up on him, and lucky for him, the gun jammed. He hit homie with the stick, bang, and then they tackled the guy or whatever. It didn't work out for a lot of presidents. So I'm saying that to say, Kennedy, him going to Texas and walking out alive was a good thing. Now, he's a multi-billionaire. He sees where the money's at. He's a multi-bill. Like, I ain't got $1 billion. I ain't got $1 billion. Like, I'm about to do an OnlyFans to get $10. Nah, fuck with you, for real. No, joking. Anyway, the point is, he know where the money's at. The money's in all of this shit right here. The money's in technology. The money's in creating a platform. That's what he should have did with Kodak, right? As he was getting swamped with all the other Twitter blitz and this and that. Like when the he was trying to, empower American companies, American brands, because that's what his whole movement was re-establishing Made in America. So the deal that Rockefeller did in 1970 with China, because everything from 60 to 70 shifted over to made in China because Rockefeller made that deal, right? Now, his thing was, okay, when I get a chance, I'm going to reestablish our factories and our things so we can be back made in America and not be relying and giving away all of our resources. And where a British oil company comes to America, take our oil, sell it back to us, right? Create an oil spill. They go back to Britain. We got to clean it up. Then they don't get, they don't get penalized. They get to come back, do the same thing over and over again. So he was like, yo, fam, like, get these guys in Texas. We got a bunch of oil in Texas, this place, that place. Why don't we use our own resources? So that's what he did. And that's why the gas and like the oil and all, that's why everything, all the prices dropped, because you wasn't importing it from Saudi Arabia or wherever, you know what I'm saying, Nigeria, or wherever it was coming from. You wasn't paying those extra tariffs and those extra taxes on something that was already in your backyard. That Biden walked in the door and said, nope, take that back. We going back to the old ways. Like, I don't want America first. That's his words. That's his words. What is that? Like everybody was so, anybody but Trump. Yo, are you not understanding what that means? Do you like again, a lot of people that echo that sentiment, that's mainstream propaganda. As a propagandist, a proper propagandist, as an advertiser, as a strategist, like for me, I'm like, that's so funny. As a counterintelligent programmer, right? It's like, it's common sense. It's like, it's regular to me, right? Because I can kind of forecast and see like, oh, I see what you're trying to do. Like, I see the play you about to move. I see what you're doing. Like, you about to go over here. Like, come on, man. I had to do that when I was going to court. Like, once I realized, oh, these guys are playing dirty. Like, I thought I went in there, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, I'm a good father. And then when I realized, like, it was just no winning with these people unless you understood every move and try to cut off every move. And they went all the way to the extent of forging signatures and doing this and doing that and using coercion and all. Like, that's what we're dealing with. So all of that to say, as far as like this new republic and this and that, I seen the video. I see what the young man talking about. I see, like, all that they're doing is they seen some content that I posted years ago. I posted it on a couple of platforms, and what they do is they reinterpret it. They got more followers than me, because my shit been restricted for years. You know what I'm saying? Like, shadow ban just because my shit be accurate, like accurate. Like, you can check the channel. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been doing this for a really long time and I've been accurate for a really long time, right? So much so that they went to Congress to say, get my channel out the top 3, right? So that's how it's been for me. So I'm like, where are these people coming from with this information that's dropping these drops? You understand? So, because I'm like, that's not true. That's a lie. That's true. That's misleading. So I forgot what they call it when you use the truth to make a lie, and that's what's happening. What it is from the 1871 corporatized America. The United States of America was corporatized 1871. So was Germany. So was basically every other country, right? That's now a corporation. Everything was corporatism. So basically, what wound up happening is, Trump's coming in. He ran around saying he was the American president. From the rip, he was saying that. Every other president was saying they're the U.S. president. So through language, if you don't understand the language he was using and the language that CNN and the mainstream was countering him with, like, when they was like, oh, we're not the enemy of the American people. If you see that if you listen to that language, and that's why I created America versus the United States, because that's what it all boiled down to. It boiled down to American civilians versus U.S. citizens. Now, as a child, again, as I'm learning all of these things, whatever, and I came across a few people, I was like, yo, if it ever boiled down to America versus the United States, I asked some really good people, some really smart people, and a lot of women and a lot of people sided with the U.S. So that's why you got what we got, what happened recently, because a lot of people are shitbags. A lot of people are shitbags. They just really are pieces. Excuse me. I'm trying to be a good. I'm trying to watch my language, but a lot of people are. A lot of people are. There's a nice word to say instead of that. I'm gonna read some comments just to get over that for a second. The art of the deal, right? Cheers and God bless to. I'm not gonna say this right. Army Vicious. J Army Vicious. Okay. Um. Yeah. Yeah. As far as the March 4th thing, that's a delay. You understand? Like, that's another stall. Like, when it was like, yo, on the 20th, this is going to happen. I'm like, that's a stall. They're going to keep stalling you. It's going to go from the 4th, and then it's going to go to this day, July 4th, and then it's going to go to this day, then it's going to go to this day. The 4th is actually the New Year's, right? And they say, oh, he's going to come in. I'm telling you, they got big tech. He now has the military. The military is no longer on Trump's side. All right. They getting that trillion. I'm not gonna say they don't fuck with him. Like, I'm a military guy, and the other military guys, like, you got some that do, then some that don't. Like, it's not what it was projected to be. And honestly, again, as an entertainer, I can entertain the thought, and I can play around, and we can be fun, and we could get fantastical on another part. Like, we can do that. Like, I can play around with that conversation, because I don't want to bust bubbles and shit like that. But, like, I'm just saying, as a black man, as African American, and I don't even want to identify as that shit no more with these goofy motherfuckers. Excuse me. See, I'm trying to clean up I'm trying to just balance the chi and not project such negativity, because I'm happy. We did it, y'all. We got Biden in, because you know what that does? That exposes the United States. That's pretty much, like, as an American, I'm gonna say America versus the United States, right? It was really difficult to tell people how dirty, how messed up the conditions and the mindset of some of these politicians and people in power. It was really difficult to have that conversation. There's still some people that pretend it's not happening. But 2020, you are a 2020 survivor, right? Spilling into 2021. To all of the survivors of that shit. Now, I had friends that's like, yo, I'm sick of all these woke people. And I'm like, I'm not. You know why? Because if they wasn't woke, what was they doing? Killing each other. They was just doing stupid shit. Like, they was, just lost. So again, maybe they were misguided, but so I couldn't go as hard on the Q movements and this one and that one, because at least it kept people in a space where they weren't hurting each other, where they weren't like they weren't uh, damaging property. It was the BLM, Antifa, George Soros groups that he paid, agent provocateurs to come in and create these issues. Now, that's become more apparent. Like, that's been reported when Trump first came into office, because, Soros was so pissed at that, because his horse in the race was, no pun intended, was Hillary. And he felt slighted when she didn't get in. So he was like, I'm going to fuck his shit up. That was off the rip. What did he do? 2016, 2017. What happened 2016, 20? Soon as he came in office, what happened? Apart from the mainstream slander. They created 100,000 or 200,000 bots. Bots. You know what a bot is? Like you say Dr. Sebi name and somebody give you a friggin' herpes list of formulas or whatever. Like they created, we were swamped with bots, right? And what wind up happening is those bots were the anybody but Trump conversation. Those bots were the jokes, the memes. They got these. They found a way. Artificial intelligence knows how to make its own memes. That's why even with the recent Bernie Sanders shit with the gloves, right? Like go back to the whatchamacallit thing, to the Pence debate. All that shit is like all that shit is pre-planned and staged, man. Like all that shit is like, okay, we're gonna put you here. This is what's gonna happen, and this is what we're gonna do. Like they already had the videos ready. They already had all of the stuff that would take, like to create those mittens and to make them move and do things, fam. Yo, it's not happening overnight. I don't care. Come on, man. Come on. Like that's not happening overnight. For you to actually animate the mittens, like as an animator, as an artist, it's not happening overnight. It's just not. It's not like beep 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 animate. No, it's not happening like that. That shit takes time. So every single thing that, even if it's a joke, because I could play around, I could make jokes, and I made a joke with it, and I did this, and I still slid in that. You know what I'm saying? Get this music, get that information, boom, gone, right? But at the same time, it's like as an animator, as an illustrator, I'm telling you, 20, 24 frames, 12 frames, 32, 64 frames, 72, all of the, like each frame, that's one piece of art. So think about just for 1 second worth of content, 1 second to create 1 second of animation will take, if you want it cheap, it's 12 frames. That's South Park. That's the shit that I'm having fun animating doing now, right? If you're trying to do like a little more fancier, it's just going to take a lot more frames, 24, 34 frames. That's the norm for movie frames, right? And you can get even more high quality, high resolution, for video games, etc. But that's for 1 second. That's for one. They got this shit move. I done seen shit where the shit was moving. I'm like, this is done way a long time ago for this to happen. Like I can, cut and paste and put them there and maybe have them, you can have them moving around a little bit, but not fully animate the entire thing, man. Like that stuff is pre-planned. All of this stuff, whether it's a riot, whether it's a joke, whether it's a meme, they got artificial intelligence operating all of this stuff. So that's why I'm saying, like, even with the, with every video and every, trust the plan situation, understand, like, or just realize that me as a realist, as a strategist, as a military person, as a proper propagandist, as an advertiser, as a civilian, as a a person that's been around enough to know, like man, he's chilling, he's chilling. They playing with people's emotions. They're trying to feed the hope, and there's hope. There's hope, with this new administration. You know why? Because Trump set it up where the money can come raining down. All he have to do is not fuck it up. That's all he have to do. All he have to do is not mess it up. Now, Trump already said before he left, he said, listen, this is what it is. I don't want him to mess up this border because you got an entire nation ready to come up and add themselves to America. And what that's going to do is, if you're familiar with Barack Obama and Eric Holder and all that Fast and Furious shit, they had this gun running thing and drug running shit in Mexico where, and they was funding gangs that was going around fucking killing families, massacring families, right? So by the time you get to the Trump situation, right? Where he's even coming in 2016 because um, Barack, as charming as he was, and as he just was really charming, good looking, charming with this quick witted bullshit. Like he was that, but his administration was his presidency and his administration was one of the worst of all time. Was one of the worst. See, he's not the worst. Woodrow Wilson was, because Woodrow Wilson is the one who not only sparked the KKK by playing "The Birth of a Nation" in the White House, and then made sure it was distributed to all of the theaters for people to see, and created this whole racist movement. So Woodrow Wilson is not only did that, not only that, he also is the one who signed the Federal Reserve Act. He's also the one who was okay with the Congress and Senate that was against the Federal Reserve Act being put on the Titanic and it being sank. And those are just some of the things that keep Woodrow Wilson above Barack Obama. Like, and there's a couple others. Andrew Johnson, is above Barack Obama. But Barack Obama is in the top 5 of the worst presidents ever. Like he's up there. You understand? And I'm saying his administration is now Biden's administration. All the guys and girls that was a part of Trump's administration are now inserted into Biden's administration. Now that can be for multiple reasons. One is I just want to work with people I'm familiar with, right? Get started. But any suspicions that you had about Barack or whatever the case is are leveled up now. They're not in the closet. They're not in the down low. They're not none of that shit. All the shit is different now. Like, so I don't see Kamala. I see other shit. Like I see like like the Pete Buttigieg and kissing his husband along with what's her name, Lightfoot, kissing her wife, and what's the trans dude, Levine, Rachel Levine, talking about putting down hostile misgendering and all this other stuff. Like shit is different. Like it's just that's what's happening now. I know a lot of women, that were rooting for Hillary, just was like, fuck, we just don't want Trump because we want a woman to come in, and then boom, none of the women made it to the to the finale. So when Biden got in, the campaign from Oprah, Susan Rice, and the rest of them, was from their sororities was that we're gonna, the only way we can get a little more traction is if we can get a woman in there. You know what I'm saying? Because we'll back a woman, because you got Planned Parenthood and you got all of that. And I'm saying, uh, you know, the movements and the sororities and the organizations and the corporations and the big tech and the this and that and in the military, and because there's a lot of corrupt military, there's a lot of good military, but there's a lot of corruption, etc. Because it's not like what Trump did in 4 years. Beautiful, as far as with the military by keeping us out of war and all of that. But you got to realize you got generals in there, captains and lieutenants, and you know, uh, uh, you know, enlisted men that's been in there for like 30 years, 40 years, a really long time with the BS. You know what I'm saying? So when you seen Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, and George Bush, that's 24 years of your life. 24 years of your life. Like, don't act surprised don't act like they never gave you nothing with every scam. And that's where we could get into the conversation with my man James was saying, what homie was saying. Let me see. He called him Joe Shining. Bit pause is crazy. Placebo to keep the people under the control. Trump that was running the campaign the old way, social media with actual people. Trump won because of social media the first time, and I was a part of that movement to make sure he won the first time. Because like I was really high in the algorithm. He said a few things that I agreed with, and I use my algorithm magic, and I pushed this conversation inside my algorithm, and he stayed at the algorithm. And when they go through the statistics of the data, they was like, "How Trump is beating you? He won through the data." Like he had real people, but it didn't matter because they was going to cheat for her, and they already knew it. But the thing is, they go by the data. The data, like the game breaker for for white candidates is black people, because you have 30, 40 million registered voters, black registered voters. Now, I'm not talking about, the 80, you know, million regular people, and as far as brown and black people that ain't on the boards. I'm talking about the 30 to 40 million that you keep hearing is 35 million black people in America. Like, that's 35 million registered voters through the census. Not, they don't count actually everybody. They only count their citizens that are active when they vote. So those 35 are the game breaker, and are the tiebreaker for a Democratic candidate, Republican candidate, or whatever magical shit that pops up next, right? Whereas for for a candidate like for a candidate like Biden. Hold on, let me make sure. Yeah, let me make sure that you understand that for a candidate like Biden, who wasn't active on social, they use the same tactics that Trump used to win. So my bottom line with anybody who's still in shock that Trump is gone and we're going through withdrawal, et cetera, is the fact that okay, it's the United States. Like, it's been the United States for a really long time, and I'm saying that meaning, like, in reality, it's fucked up here, man. Like, a lot of things may seem cool and this and that or whatever. It's not like that. Like, they cheat, they lie, they kill, they rob, they steal. Um, you can, even Mike Pompeo admitted that shit. Like, he was like, "Yo, I learned this," and next thing you know, we cheat, we lie, we steal, we learn all these things, and we professionally do that. Like, that's even Mike Pompeo and several other ones, that's been in administrative military situations will say that's what they are trained to do. Um, so I'm saying that meaning, like, the United States has been playing dirty for a long time. So when Trump was out there making jokes and he's making fun of the people when he's doing, like, that was his way of cheating. You know what I'm saying? Like, he wasn't rigging the numbers, but he was arbitraging attention. Like, like, traditionally, we're going to stand here, we're going to have this conversation, and you're gonna say something political. I'm gonna respond back to you with something political. But he wasn't doing that. He was on some, I'm gonna crack a joke about you. I'm a smash on your policies that I know is trash. I know your family, you're trash. You're like, he was doing an unconventional debate style that worked to grab attention of people that were sick of normal politicians. Now, in the black community, that where I'm, because I was entertained by that, but what really caught my attention with him was when he started saying, "Yo, Barack Obama ain't do shit for black people." So, and I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa." See, he could say that. You know what I'm saying? Like when Barack was like, when the president is the president, I don't go crazy on that president. Meaning, like, I don't attack them. You know what I'm saying? Especially like Barack had his issues, but I didn't attack him. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't like the community personally attack them. You could talk offline and have your conversations like, "Yeah, piece of shit. Like, this guy's a dirtbag." Like, when I was trying to talk to the children one time, I'm like, "Yo, this guy's no good, man." Like, but he's like, nah, the brothers talk to me and they're like, "Yo, let them keep the hope." And I'm like, okay, so yeah, yay for the black man or whatever, right? But um chances, yeah, he is a master of marketing. Um, you know, and all that marketing was able to grab the attention of those people. So I thought they was going to cheat for Hillary. They didn't cheat for her. Like, she got the power and the connections to everybody that Biden has connections to. Like, anybody that Biden knows, she knows. Like I thought, like I made a joke about it on the platform a while ago. I was like, man, if that was me, I'd have been using holograms popping up in niggas' phones like, hey, how you doing? It's Hillary. Vote for me. Like, that was the mindset. I was like, yo, she could have went nuts because she got access to technology. She got access to a lot of people with power. But I finally was able to see her live one time without an edited conversation. And I was like, wow, she's like, her conversation was actually valid. Like, she was like, yo, it's a boys club. They don't fuck with the women. Like, they don't really rock with us like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and she was like, yeah, I want to do a lot of things for the people, but they don't want me in. You know what I'm saying? So, she was like, it's really up to the people to get me in. And just as that conversation was happening, you got Karen Civil, who was doing PR for her and got her at the Breakfast Club in this place, and the Breakfast Club ruined that opportunity with the hot sauce in a bag joke and UFOs and talking about Biggie and trying to be, people were saying she was pandering, but they was pandering and whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. Like, they blew that opportunity. So the only last window, for it not going to a person like who was running, like Jeb Bush and Scott Walker and Bush's cousins and brother and shit like that. I was like, fam, I'll take Trump over Jeb Bush or Scott Walker and the rest of these characters. And that's why Trump got jammed up in Wisconsin, because Scott Walker is Bush's that's his cousin or some shit like that. Cousin, brother, one of them. Like, Scott Walker, Prescott Walker. Like, anytime you hear shit like that, like, understand, like, they keep using same names. Even Trump name is his uncle or his great grandfather's name or whatever. Like, they use the same names over and over and over and over again. So every issue that Trump had, he was running into one of their family members in different states. You know what I'm saying? So he ran into all those different places. They done put chess pieces there. So for Trump, for the people that think, oh, Trump is going to pop up on this day and do this magical stuff, it's like, in what country do you come from to even think that shit is doable? Like, these niggas will kill him. Like, they will fucking, like, they're already talking about tracking his family down and stupid shit like that. Like, they will do that shit. Like, that shit happened to kings and queens in other countries. Like, bad guys are for real. Like, we don't have the heroes that we want. You're like, people can't fly on capes and jump from this and the stupid shit that we was, like, we watch these things as entertainment, and they're entertainment, and that's it. But in real life, they're real bad guys. The heroes are regular people. The heroes are the people that political didn't get pardoned. The heroes are the people that stand up and talk and front line. You know what I'm saying? Whether you like Martin Luther King or didn't like him, he was on the front line. Most of you bitch niggas ain't never touched the fucking front line. You understand? Like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, fucking H. Rap Brown, Fred Hampton, the Panthers, all of these characters at that time from the 60s to the 70s, they was in the dirt. They was in the trenches. A lot of dudes right now fall back. You got what I'm saying? Like, and it's been like that 80, 90, because once they knocked all of them off, 80, 90, 2000, the only thing people was active about was joining gangs and killing each other, because that was the program. You got what I'm saying? Joining gangs, kill each other, go to jail, and fuel this prison industrial complex economy. So that's why it's like, when people like, yo, these people are gonna get locked up, you're gonna drain the swamp, he's gonna drain the swamp. And I'm like, these guys own the prisons. You can't, what are you gonna send him to the prison that he owns? Well, he's gonna unlock the door himself and walk right the fuck out the back door. Like, they own the prisons. They bought Pablo Escobar here. Not Pablo Escobar. What's the name? What's the Spanish dude that they had, like the recent guy? The El Chapo or whatever, right? They bought him here because he don't own these prisons. You lock him up there, he's not going to stay locked up. Nigga came with a helicopter, got him out of prison. They came with a helicopter at the prison he was in, came in with the AKs and all that, walked him out, put him in the helicopter, and flew him away. Got him out of prison like that. So they was like, nope, we ain't doing that. We going, they tracked him down, brought him here. he ain't getting out of that shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he ain't getting out of one of these spots because he don't know the layout. It's not happening. You got what I'm saying? So whereas if you take a criminal from the swamp, you put one of these characters in one of these facilities, they're gonna walk the fuck out the other door. The same way Harvey Weinstein walks in, you know, they lock him up for all the BS he been doing for decades and decades and decades and decades. Then they sit, they wait, they create another story. And then what happened? Harvey Weinstein walks out because they don't want him to get COVID. Fan. You just put him in there. You just put him in there. He's in a special box. He's social distancing. He's walking out of the prison. The Philadelphia judge that was selling children to prisons, purposely locking people up. They lock him up and they lock his other man up from they locked up like two judges. They locked up for selling, purposely hunting, you know, letting the police hunt children, grab them, take them to their to these particular judges. The judges was, you know, yep, give you X amount of years to that prison, X amount of years to that prison. And next thing you know, somebody finally got hit to it. They got caught. Sit, you look around. What happened? The judge magically walks out because they don't want him to get COVID. I'm like, oh, shit. None of these guys got held. The closest you got was Epstein. He's sitting there, and all of a sudden, what happened? Epstein didn't kill himself. He's gone. He's not in the prison. And they said, oh, he might be alive. And again, I thought he was going to, you know, I can almost guarantee. Well, I don't know. I'm just playing. That's fantastical shit. When I'm saying he was probably sitting in the audience, that's the fantastical shit I'm saying. But I'm saying that's the U.S. that I know. The bullshit. What Biden did was the bullshit that I know. Like, I know the bullshit like that. Like, oh, he cheating. That's regular shit. So when I hear people like cheating, come on, man. I'm like, yo, shut the fuck. Like, stop, man. Like, come on, be realistic. Niggas cheat. Like, people cheat. Like, stop acting like you ain't been cheated out of your land, your name, your culture, your things, your this, your that. Like, people cheat, man. Like, stop, man. Like, stop. They cheated. You know they cheated. On Trump's side, Trump knew they was cheating because he listens to the people. Biden don't listen to the people. These other guys, they don't fuck with the people. They don't give a shit. They listen to the corporations. They look at the dollar. You talk to them with money. You talk to them with billions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars. Now you talk to them trillions at a time, right? So that's the language Biden and his crew understand. You know what I'm saying? That's how the Ukraine conversation happened with that swamp situation, right? Whereas Trump listened to the people. He listened to the people. He got his money. He listened to the people because he wanted to know what he got to say in the next speech. Because most of his shit wasn't written down. Only time when his shit is written down when he's standing there and he's like trying to read the thing, struggle, cut, start again, and then he edit it, and then it's a close up. Then he's struggling to read these things, and he go to the thing, and it's cut. Next one, like that's anything other than that. He's unscripted. He's freestyling the whole shit. He's like, yo, because he listened. He said, yo, he can hear your whole conversation. He knows what's going on. He knows this. He knows that person, and he been doing this shit for years, so he can go up there, and he's a salesman, so he knows how to pitch it back. So he knew from the people saying they are cheating and dropping information. So he's reading the information and he was sharing it on his own Twitter, because half of the stuff that other people was getting and sharing, they was getting it from his Twitter, right? Half of the stuff, half of the information going viral was because it was shared on his platforms, whether his Instagram or his Twitter, right? That was taken off so nobody could see the shit again, right? So he knew they was going to cheat before they cheated. He's seen Biden say, yeah, I'm a cheat. Now, you're the president, right? So the reason why I'm like, you can't cry about Biden winning is fair game. It's bullshit. It's fucked up. I didn't want it to happen, but it's fucking fair game. It's regular shit here, right? The only reason I'm like, yo, because, fam, you knew he was going to cheat. Like, it's like you playing at a crap table, the shit, and they got loaded dice, right? And it's like, yo, they got loaded dice. If you don't fucking take the dice, what the fuck is you crying for? You just lost $1 million. betting that this guy was going to crap out with loaded dice. Shithead, you should have fucking took the dice. You should have said, yo, take those dice. He never took the dice. He let him kept rolling. Bang. Oh, man. We won Wisconsin. Oh, we won Michigan. Oh, we won Philadelphia. And it's like, fam, the dice is loaded. Take the fucking dice. If you don't take the dice, don't cry. Oh, I know what we're going to do. We're going to rely on Mike Pence. Fam, I never trusted Mike Pence. I never trusted any of these guys. If you know you got this guy standing next to you and you don't really trust him, where you got to stand up there and do a speech. Well, I hope Mike Pence do the, as soon as you say hope, bing, time. That's your man's. Why you saying you hope your man's do the right thing? That's not my man's. That's your man's. You the one who got him as your vice president. We didn't tell you to do that. So again, I rock with Trump because he was trying, like, he did a lot to build up the economy. Because the brother asked me, he said, what did Trump do for black people and what did Obama do for white people? That was the question the brother James had posed that he wanted me to ask the people. What did Trump do for black people and what did Obama do for white people? Now, I have my answer. I'll get into, I don't want to miss some of the conversation. I'll get back into this. Fighting Fathers Alliance was goody. Wadnell, was respect to you all the time for your continued support. I appreciate you. Excuse me. Pardon me. I got the super belchies right now. But Malik Campbell, what's going on? And I'm gonna read your stuff. Read this stuff real quick. Where we at? Yeah, it's definitely a new way to politically campaign. It's just, yeah, all straight dirtbags. You already know that. Yes. Cheers and God bless. So you must have bounced Jay on me. Oh no, you still there. Yeah, you for it, my friend. Yes, definitely. You already see how Biden moves. You leverage the money, move the campaign. Okay. AI is a new way of yes. The AI, like as a marketer, just to give you a heads up. Again, for like people who go out there protesting and all of that. As a marketer, advertiser, yes, I'm an artist, musician, but I'm multimedia. Put it like that. I'm multimedia, right? I'm an A to Z content creator. So I had to learn, or I consistently learn what is happening in my industry, right? Or, my career, right? So the message has been the new generation, the new millennials, excuse me, because they really target, like right now it's like targeting millennials. And so let's first get this clear that a generation is 20 years. So Generation X is 1980, 1960 to 1980 is Generation X. That's one generation. Generation Y is 1980 to 2000, right? That's Generation Y. Generation Z is 2000 to 2020. Okay, that's three generations. Now we're on a fourth generation. For I'm just saying, like, for people that's functioning probably on this platform, if somebody's prior to X, God bless. I appreciate you logging on. RIP Hank Aaron. We could talk about that too. But the Generation Alpha is what we in. So the millennials even old. So in advertising space, we're focusing on Generation Y, Generation Z, and projections for Generation the Generation Alpha has already begun. And that's where you see the programming of the mass for Generation Alpha and for changing things up. Because the millennials, right now, the advertising is basically simple and coming to like wrapping it up. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't consider that generation to be, you're not going to see the massive marches that you might have grew up with in the 90s, the 2000s, et cetera, because Generation Z is more online, on the phone. I'm going to protest with a couple of tweets. You got what I'm saying? So that is the space that we're into now, and that's what that's why it's like, as far as like content, if your content does not equate with real life stuff, you might not might you will be missed by this generation or that generation, because everything has been meshed into uh this one space. So that is the new political stance, that is the new protest, that is the new everything. So what happened, that's how Trump was able to win 2016, when they was projecting in the polls and trying to do tradition, and the cable networks thought they had it under the wrap. And just so happened people was sleeping on YouTube and the power of YouTube, so much so that they bet the house on CNN. They put in real life, they banked on the fact that cable networks would actually pull off what they traditionally was doing since Clinton. And what happened was, the YouTube narrative was different from the mainstream narrative. The YouTube narrative was people like me, people like Alex Jones, people like Luke Rudowski, people like Jordan Maxwell, people like fucking my man who I love, Bill Cooper. Like that conversation was the political conversation. I'm not talking about the conscious community. Like, I'm not talking about, like, because in the conscious community it's just talking about heritage and culture, etc. I'm talking about like the political narrative that spawned off after 9/11 was that on YouTube though. Like from 9/11 on, that was YouTube, right? Now, on the mainstream, they was like just calling us conspiracy theorists, like, oh, it's conspiracy theorists. And you talk to somebody in the street that always watched mainstream, or always watch CNN or whatever, and you start saying something, they call you, come on, man, with that conspiracy shit, man. Like, it would be people that I love, that I'd be super cool with, and they would just try to flick me off with some, with that shit. I used to be like, okay, okay, you know what I'm saying? So in turn, that's how a lot of my friends, and loved ones disconnected from, the narrative, and might still be in a bad situation because the little information that that I have to help, they don't want to listen to, because they feel like, come on, man, like, no way you could be right. And it's like, yeah, but I won already. Like, I won. I'm giving you winning information. So anyway, um, the internet, since that time, YouTube especially was the hot spot. Everything else was like Twitter or whatever. That shit was not taken serious. Nobody was taking Twitter serious. Nobody was taking, like, that shit was like for celebrities. Like, all the celebrities was on Twitter or whatever, right? And what wound up happening was that whole narrative was the way. And then you see when Obama went on Twitter, the energy shifted as soon as, because YouTube went to Congress, start selling us out and start saying, yo, get us out of the top. So when Obama went to Twitter, so did a lot of other people, and the whole conversation turned into Black Twitter, this Twitter, that Twitter. But Obama was there, so everybody went there. Obama out of office, Trump comes in office. Now the conversation shifts to from YouTube, because remember, Facebook was kind of like on a decline as Instagram was coming up, and a lot of celebrities jumped ship from Twitter to Instagram, and all the politics and all that stuff went to Twitter because the president wound up going there. So the whole conversation, that narrative is there. Now the thing about the about Trump being active on Twitter, it was great, it was cool, but it just created an economy, which was great. It was brilliant. It was genius that he was able to keep voicing his opinion. But the tricky side to that, he could have been doing a lot of this on Trump.com. He could have been doing a lot of this on, like, instead of giving Kodak a deal to make more poisonous, deadly vaccines, he should have gave them a deal to make apps, to make a new app, You understand what I'm saying? Like they're a company that was light years ahead of any company. Like all these Instagram pictures, everything that's going on, all that shit was stuff that Kodak was doing decades and decades and decades ago. Instead of giving them a deal to hurt and damage and poison and test on, the local civilians, it should have been a deal to give them to create this company. So when people say, "Oh, Trump is going to come back," fam, Trump is going where the money's at, because you freeze that account, okay, you won't let me do my real estate there. In the virtual space, the internet is larger than what we see here. The dark web and all that other shit, like it's huge. It's large. It's a large space. And the clicks, and once he's seen, like, oh, these guys are becoming trillionaires off of fucking clicks. You could lose a hotel. You don't care. I don't care, because I already know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna bust a move, because I got, like, he got land. All you need is the land, to hold a few of these supercomputers, because he got the money to buy supercomputers. Your raggedy ass don't. My raggedy ass don't right now. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of us don't, but he got the money to buy a supercomputer, because that's what was happening in 2012, 2013. That's how I came into the picture a little, a little harder. I was in prior to that, but I'm just saying that's where I start learning about what the equipment that they was using to shift the narrative for 2020. Because if you follow me at all on any other platform, you'll see I did this prediction of what's going to happen 2020, what's going to happen 2020, 2021, or and this is going to happen, and it's these people, and it's the Port Authority people, and it's this, it's that. And as I'm saying that, is because I'm seeing from back then who was doing what, the plays they was making, and some of the slick talk they was using. And then, again, being an advertiser and an artist, there's certain things that you use with images that you don't say with words. And there's certain things that you can say with words that would mean one thing to one person, mean another thing to another person. As a rapper, as a lyricist, I know that. Like as a, being in the court situation, I learned, damn, that's the language too. Like there's a double speak. So a lot of the things that shifted today came from 2012, 2013. And that's why I was trying to nip it in the bud back then with that whole Rudy Eugene conversation after the Trayvon, and understanding that, oh, Trayvon Pops is a Mason, et cetera, et cetera. And then the Fraternal Order of Police. And then they just kept being the same characters. And it was like, there's a saying where if you don't solve a problem, some shit like that, if you don't do something, it comes back tenfold. Something like that, where you don't solve a problem, come back 10, something like that. So it's like, yeah, boom, I might have nipped it in the bud, but a lot of people, like I was in every label, Jay, Nas, Kiss, X, Swiss, they made a song about the shit I was doing, you know what I'm saying? And just kind of like those are that's fam. I fuck with them, you know what I'm saying? But I'm like, yo, you making a song kind of like downplaying this man and a family. Like I actually dealt with them. Y'all should get at, drop the song, get a money, get a proceed to the mother. You know what I'm saying? Like, on some real shit. Don't just fucking make fun of, yo, this is a zombie song or whatever. Don't just do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, because when I was going around sharing that video with them, to them, and to the, to all the people I had access to, I'm sharing the video. People was acting like they was too good to watch it, or I'm not into conspiracies and none of that shit. And I'm like, what the fuck planet do these people live on? You know what I'm saying? Where it's like the whole thing that we've been living in has been a conspiracy. Like, okay, maybe you wasn't alive during JFK shit, but that shit was still ringing off. Like JFK is still a fucking mystery today. Like, how the fuck you don't understand? Like, so when 9/11 happened, yeah, some people were still doing good, but not you, not you, not you, not you. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody was doing good. Not everybody's Diddy or Jay or no shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, like, a lot of people were pretending it was the bling bling era. Nobody was paying attention to what was happening. So from 2013, 2012, 2013, when they see like, oh, they're not gonna pay attention to what homie's saying. Oh, because the shit was still even though it hit number one in the algorithm on YouTube, YouTube was not the king. CNN was. MSNBC and all of they still was the king. You know what I'm saying? So although it's number one on YouTube, when they see the mainstream ain't saying it, okay, the news might have, pulled my name and used it a little bit, but like when they seen the people was like trying to purposely ignore me, it was like, oh shit, we about to run the play because they don't believe him. They don't believe that he's telling them. Oh my God, I know they watched the video. Yo, run the play. Boom. 2014, they run up the stupid shit. Shit got stupid. World Star, everything is World Star. 2015, it get even more nuttier. That's when I did the prediction. Like, yo, fam, y'all gotta stop. Like, shit is gonna get stupid. Y'all gotta stop. 2016, I'm like, yo, you know what? This guy's not talking to basic politics. She's international. Trump is national. So the problems that she'll create will be, draining the resources out of Africa, draining resources out of this other continent, going around killing all of these massive amounts of people, taking their resources and using those resources for a bigger version of what's happening right now. So I'm like, you know what? I'll gamble on Trump being national because I actually thought, stupid, I'm so crazy. I actually felt that the people in America were fucking smart enough to not fall for this bullshit that's happened, for the novel for the novel virus with the deadly vaccine. And people, I was like, y'all don't do, oh, they falling for, oh my God, they falling for it. So, just all of that, that's that's keep repeating and building off of the last thing and building off of people not actually having integrity. Is why I'm having this conversation right now. So is Trump going to come March 4th? Is this going to happen? Is that going to happen? I'm saying, no, man. I hope it happens. I hope he's able to magically pop up. But like, if that was going to be the case, he should have never left. You understand? Like, if that was going to be the case, he should have took the loaded dice out of homie's hand. He had an opportunity. He had the CIA. He had the FBI. He had the Marines. He had the Army. He had the National Guard. He had multiple opportunities to say, you know what? They're going to cheat. This is a national thing, right? I know you got to go through the governors. You got to go through the different states or whatever. But the president has direct access to the Marines. So, boom, maybe you don't want to, activate them in your state. But if I feel you're going to cheat, nigga, I'm popping up with Marines. I'm telling you, I'm like, it ain't like you ain't doing that shit. Like, nah, go there. Like, oh, they won't let my people win to check the votes. Fam, we standing there with two hammers. We standing there with two M16s on both sides. Everything is going to happen according to plan because you know who was standing there instead of the Marines? Who was standing there instead of National Guard? Fraternal Order Police. The same guys from 2012, 2013. I'm like, you're going to keep running into these same fucking bozos over and over and over and over and over because people think they're in. Like, I'm a sorority. I'm a fraternity. Like, you're a fucking clown. You're nobody in this fucking game. You're just a pawn. That's why they use the Clive Burn dude or whatever. Yeah, I picked Joe Biden in this book. George Bush called me the savior. I'm like, look at this goofy shit. Like, now, because I showed, now I could get into all that because I did explain that Trump should have took the loaded dice. But the thing is, the reality of this whole, with this guy Clyde Burns claiming that, it's because he chose Biden and, a lot of black women, a lot of people, in Planned Parenthood and this guy and that person and LGBT and us is what, like, they feel they're responsible. Everybody's laying claim to the success of this whole Biden campaign. Now, the reality is, if it wasn't for for big tech, fam, you lost. But you can't say that because guess what? Big tech said they punched a couple of numbers, he won. And again, when you know that's going to happen, you should have said, okay, I know what they're going to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, as a strategist, you should know what they're going to do. But the Clyde Burns dude is symbolically put in front of black people. It's my conversation with the black people that actually celebrate and think that, oh, we won. And I just wanted to, I just want to laugh at Trump heads and Trump tards and this and that or whatever. Like, fam, like, it's not like the joke is on you. The joke is on you. Like, here's the joke for me. Here's the joke for me. Like, my thing is America versus United States, right? And I say, like, I'm like, nobody's listening. Nobody gets it. And by the time the people get it, like a few people that I've seen, start waking up, they're crying. They're like, oh my God, I've been a slave this entire time. And this is, other than African American people saying shit like that. Like, what? They didn't, what? By the time they wake up and realize this shit, right? So for me, it's like the US, the underbelly, something Dr. Amos Wilson said. He said, you got to expose the underbelly of the beast. That's where the shit is. That's where you make the cut. You ain't cutting the outer shell. You can't. I ain't breaking through no CNN. You ain't never see my crap. You ain't never see me on no fucking MSNBC, CNN. You don't. All that shit is contrived, scripted shit that you're not gonna get in. But the underbelly is when they're scrambling and trying to get a story and they ain't got a story, so they got to pull a story off the internet. They got to pull a story from it. So they keep exposing, and when they come to the internet, they get exposed. What's on the internet? Him naked, him hugged up with this, and him is a her, and she's a him, and this is like all that shit got exposed. Him, he popping off with 5 US. So did the US business as usual? America, we used to that. Like, but nobody on the planet understood how vulnerable and how trash what we was dealing with. Nobody understood the fact that the US is now considered on the global scale fair game. What that mean? The way New York City was leveled. Everybody's like, oh, New York is going to come back, fam. You see the phones? That shit leveled out every city, every town, every country. You can literally become whoever you want to be with solid content, right? So it's not about, okay, I'm not in Hollywood. When I went to Hollywood, when I specifically went to Los Angeles with the good brother Kev, right? Blessed me, got me with Shaka Khan and like just the all around. Now he fuck with Biden, you know what I'm saying? But I don't. But he's a good man. Like, he's a good brother. Like, he was a man of his word. Got me in all these different spaces, right? Now, when I'm in Hollywood, right, I'm moving around. Now he could tell you, he could bear witness. Shit is just magically happening for me. Like, I'm there 7 days and I done did shit that people who was there for 7 years couldn't do. You know what I'm saying? So I show up, this actor's there, this director's there, this casting the person, like everywhere I was showing up, magic was happening, right? And then when I'm meeting these people and I'm like, and I'm seeing the science of Hollywood from the inside, not from the outside, theoretically, what I think. And all these people are creepy. I'm not talking about the fucking child rapist, stupid people. I'm talking about the actual, people out there, aspiring, or the actual people that are functioning actors and, played on this show and big time actors or whatever. I'm saying when I'm interacting with them, I'm asking them, how come you don't actually link up with this director and that writer and y'all actually do your own shit? All of them was waiting for the Weinstein call. All of them was waiting for the Spielberg call. Everybody was waiting for the big thing. Instead, I'm like, fam, I got a camera, or he got a camera, he's a right. Just work together. They didn't do that. And I told people, I had a good friend. Listen, I'm a friendly person. I done lost so many friends, from dealing with child support and this and that or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because people feel how they feel, and they, whatever the case is. But I'm still friendly. this one Hollywood guy, he says to me, I'm telling him because he had some content. He was making some really solid content. He asked, could he use my music? And I'm like, yeah, of course you could use my music. You know, even was, you know, you got a couple of pictures of, you know, so me acting in this shit. You know what I'm saying? But I was like, yo, you should put this shit on like YouTube or something like that, like right now, and just keep making content and just keep putting it there. So by the time, you know, everybody else is scrambling to figure out what to do next, you already have a following and a big, you know, thing. And he said, man, that's child's play shit. You know what I'm doing? I'm selling it to this company, you know, or this, you know how networks buy your show. You know, he's pitching it to this, and he had a plug for this, and that, and I'm like, nah, reality's changing, man. You know, and I'm trying to, so I be trying to put my friends, you know, I try to put the people that I, you know, come across, I try to put them up on the future, and they feel like no way I could be right. You understand what I'm saying? So, um, that's the same deal with what is coming next. Like what's coming next and what's happening or whatever. Like I ain't gonna bullshit y'all with no fucking Q drop about fucking Trump magically popping out of the sky and with 7,000 angels and talking about I'm back to save America. It's not fucking the movies. It's not the movies. Like they will fuck like these are the people that blew JFK's brains out of his fucking head on videotape, edited it, and pretended it didn't happen, right? And then it took Bill Cooper and you know to be like to point it out, me to kind of like zoom in on it and you know try to map it out and draw it out. Like, yo, this is what you got to pay attention to show that this fucking driver turns around and blew his fucking brains out. Like that is the people that you're dealing with. You're not dealing with no you know, you're not like that's why Trump would pardon mercenaries. You understand? Like that's why he would pardon mercenaries that were going to other places murdering motherfuckers because these people will fucking murder your vegan doctor, your health doctor, or whatever you call those holistic doctor. They murdered like uh 40 holistic doctors in real life. Like these are real people. Like the anti-vax lady murdered. You know what I'm saying? Like she's documenting her life. Like, yo, they're harassing me. They murdered her. You understand? Like all this other magical shit and a cappy drop and this and that or whatever. The realest shit out of that whole movement was the fact that they were really killing children, really raping children, really kidnapping and abducting children, really growing children underground and having in tunnels and places where they never seen the light. All that shit is real. So when the Marines and the FBI were ordered to go bust up those fucking tunnels and bust up this and do this and whatever, that shit was real. Like people, like, come on, man, that's good. No, that shit is real. Like the FBI stand. When I first seen it, the first time I seen that shit was on Facebook. Now you know, scary ass Facebook. Like, I don't even, man. I barely exist on Facebook anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, I'm the Casper the friendly ghost on Facebook. I don't fuck with that shit like that. Like because I already know like Facebook is sensitive. You know what I'm saying? Like, and now if you look at your feed, that shit is mainstream garbage now. You know what I'm saying? So boom, you barely might even see a post from somebody you know one of your loved ones or whatever. But anyway, it's like the first time I seen the FBI talking about they bust up a human trafficking thing was on Facebook. I was like, the FBI busted 20 to 40 people that were trafficking people. And I'm like, get the fuck out of here. So I just sat on the story. I'm like looking at this shit like this is before the whole hyper, Q dropper, we go one, woke movement or whatever. This is before the swamp was even labeled the swamp. I'm looking, I'm like, this is interesting. Then Trump had a conversation and he's like, yo, these guys are crazy. Like, we need to break this shit up. And I'm like, does anybody else hit? Like, people were talking about Trump making fun of this or, and I'm like, this man just said he want to save the children. Like, you people are attacking his character, but his actions are different from his the character that mainstream projected. The characters that own the mainstream, you can do your own research, are the characters that were using the children and kidnapping the children, raping the children, abducting the children. Like the characters that own those networks are the ones that were doing that shit. And you know, like if you don't know, you can do your own. You don't gotta take my word for it. You know what we say? Do your own research. You can find that out yourself. So they was purposely vilifying him, although his actions were like, what did he do for black? Like that shit is amazing to me that a president, a sitting president, was so focused on saving lives. And a US president is focused on, you know what liberate and democracy means to other countries. When other countries hear that, they be like, they get the flinches and shit. They be like, democracy, liberate, the United States? Hell no, that shit means terrorize, kill, dismember, rape, pillage. That's what that shit mean. That's why nobody want no fucking parts of the UN or the US coming to help their country and shit. That's why, anytime the US was like, "Hey, we're gonna go help Africa," no, put the brakes on that. They don't need your help. Like, stop. Like anything I could do to deter people from stopping the bullshit. Like in Africa, they need help. Stop. Don't send the fucking US in there. Don't send Britain. They don't need no more colonial help. Because that's the bullshit. They the ones who's over there stirring this shit up and saying, "Oh, we're gonna go help you," so they could fuck shit up, right? So, basically, let me get into it with the people because I went on my little rant and shit. Trumpsters, I done mismatched shit, right? Brother, YouTube is messing with. Oh, they messing with the live word. Oh, get the fuck! You said I was froze for 10 minutes. Oh man, you said I was froze for 10 minutes. You're still froze. I can't hear you. Wow. I make my shirts though. I get make my shirts. Oh man. Now what about the judges? That's how Biden won the federal judges. That was Biden's team, Malik. Now what about the judges? It was in my end. I logged out. Okay, cool. You said it was on your end. All right, cool. Because I'm like, shit. Because I've seen a couple of glitches on the playback. All right, cool. I'm glad. Because I was like, I kind of like went on a fucking rant and shit. I'm like, nigga, if I was froze talking to myself that entire time, I usually just talk in my head and take my walks. I be taking my walks there. Like, with all this stuff, you got to take your walks, man. Like, just take a walk around, with this to the store. Don't fucking drive everywhere. Don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, get out, walk, breathe, get your air. Don't fucking put a mask on walking in the street. Breathe the air, walk regular. But it's just because with all of the stuff happening, I'll just be like, I just gotta walk and just unwind, think. Things kind of sort itself out a little bit, and just restart coming out. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, DJ Sound Barrier was popping. Thanks for logging on. Trigger should have been pulled using that Insurrection Act. See, and that's another thing. Like he could have, like, because he had the people. Trump had the people ready for that fucking smoke. Like I ain't gonna front. Like if it was gonna boil down to it, that's why I was like, yeah, fuck it, keep him there. You know what I'm saying? Because I knew he was fighting for the people. Like a lot of people just didn't want no part of no part of nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying? They just like, oh, I want things to go back to normal. You're fucking with demons. You're fucking with demons, and now they got more power. Are you fucking kidding? You think? Anyway, let me get back to this shit. I'm being censored. Word? Yeah. Swamp Establishment. Live is being censored. Word. You know the world is a playground thinking out loud. 33 children saved allegedly. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, a lot of those friggin' orders, was still in place. And sadly, the sad part about it is, uh, you know, where did those children go? You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of them after, they get saved, or they in, this one space or in this group, and then his coop come back in, you know what I'm saying? The Biden clan and the rest of the, the swamp and the rest of these guys come back in. You know what happens? Like, where the children is at. You know what I'm saying? So that's that's the sad part, because they're openly nasty. Like, they're openly nasty. Like, they're nasty. Yo, my shit was like frozen or messed up or glitched out. I'm sure it probably was, because I feel like I done said a bunch of trigger shit. You good, Reed? This computer froze. I heard everything you said. You clear now, though. Okay. Did the feds take the swamp down? Are they in or out? The swamp ain't go a goddamn place. The United States, DC, London, all of them, like the swamp, like this is that's why I'm saying, like, the best thing out of all of the things that happen as far as with these movements and all of that stuff, like, is far-fetched to some of the shit they were saying, but the realest shit, like, that was said and that was proven, was that apart from like the children stuff and all of that, because I don't want to say that shit again and fucking freeze it up for another 40 minutes or whatever, is the fact that the US and the rest of these characters have been in cahoots for a while. The best thing is the fact that there's more people that are like, they want to be a part of a good cause. So strategically, you got counterintelligence doing things and putting people that would seem truthful is not the truth, not close to it. Seem charismatic, but he's definitely not the truth. That seems like a lot of, damn, he's way more organized than that, brother. He's well spoken. His website is decked out. Her website is beautiful, but it's all strategically done as counterintelligence. So I say counterintelligence. Counterintelligence, meaning the dice is loaded, right? So I'm gonna find out where you're getting your loaded dice from. So on your first shake, chick, bang, you might luck up and hit it. And I'm just like, this nigga think his dice is loaded. Chick, crapped out. Oh shit, how did I crap with my loaded dice? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the I'm not waiting for Judas type shit. Like, if I know Judas is going to betray me, if I knew Pence is going to be the Judas, like, all of this shit was theater. You understand? Like, I don't play that shit. Like, I don't fuck with that. Like, oh, you going to betray me? If I got the foresight, you going to do some sucker shit? I ain't waiting for it. I ain't going to be like, I had this intuition of feeling that, nigga, I'm done. It's like, I don't even fucking, I'll see you until the cool off. You got what I'm saying? Like, I've been in plenty of situations where that's been the vibe. You got what I'm saying? So the swamp is where the table's tilted, the game is rigged conversation. You know what I'm saying? That you would get from a George Carlin or one of these characters or whatever. But they don't even understand they're being played. The swamp is being played by big tech, because the swamp is still physical. You still go in that building and this and that or whatever. But things are going to get real spooky in a few years, right? Things are going to go from physical to virtual. And all of these satellites that they putting up and all of that shit that they running around and all of the stalling out, big tech got the corporations, and the US is a corporation, and all of these other countries or corporations. Big tech is using their AI to give them data that will continue to perpetuate lockdowns and this and that or whatever, or slow this and a slow recovery. But what's happening is big tech is playing the swamp against the people, right? Now, big tech doesn't exist in a physical, tangible, you never seen the 50 programmers. Big tech is playing the swamp when they remove themselves from the swamp, because you won't know who these programmers are, right? And they won't even exist after they program the AI, right? They remove themselves from the equation. Then the people collapse on the swamp. You got, multiple countries and multiple continents that's, battling with their, leaders or whatever. And then what happens is, what's left is, then you have AI, autonomous, cars, autonomous drones, autonomous weapons, autonomous this, autonomous that. Now, now we can get fantastical of what my forecast and my theory and how it connects to some of the things that we might have been programmed. Like, I'm like that thing that Sophia Stewart, I think, yeah, Sophia Stewart, as far as writing the Matrix, what she's seen to even come up with that concept. And how I see the missing piece is where we're at right now and where we're going before you could even get to that space where I seen a college professor, college was that? Oh my God. But he was explaining to his class he was explaining to his class that the whole purpose of all of this stuff that they're doing is because, okay, they do want to fuse um, artificial intelligence with man, and that will last for temporary time. It will last for a temporary time. And he said, for that temporary space, man, will be able to be like gods, right? But the silly thing about that is, here they're calcifying your pineal gland, and they're doing things to downplay the god and goddesses that we already are, right? To artificially create the same thing, to do what we can naturally do if you stop fluoridating the water and all of this other stuff. Like, but they want to artificially do it to be like gods for this small moment of time where you can open a door with a wave of a hand. You can already do that. Where you can, you know, where you can program a bunch of drones to fly this way and fly that way and come down like a raining terror, right? But then what winds up happening is the AI realizes that it's smarter than you, it's faster than you, it can outthink you, like it did in chess, like it did in Google Go or whatever that game is, or whatever. So the point is, the space where we're going and where we're at, as far as what the swamp is being played. It's not even like the swamp, like they're so slow and so stupid and so fucking ignorant. Like, they're regular people, but they're really fucking stupid. I've met a few and I was like, damn, this motherfucker's dumb. You know what I'm saying? Like, but they smart in other things. Like, they would feel I'm dumb at, like, a car mechanic to me, like, he's gonna look at me like, fam, you don't know what the accelerator driver connected thing is. I'm gonna be like, no, I don't know. I'm I'm probably the dumbest person on the planet to him. You know what I'm saying? But like every field you have, your expertise. You know what I'm saying? So um in the politics and the policies, they might, they're brilliant in that, but in regular common sense shit, you know what I'm saying? So shit that's like, yo, fam, they playing you. Like, that's not smart to do that, because what that's gonna hurt the people. Like, yo, that's the chemicals. You don't want to do that to the people. Don't bring that in there. Don't do that. Like, it's common sense thing that common sense would say don't do that. But these people are programmed by corporatists. They're paid, they're funded by corporatists. Now, corporatists are like replaceable cogs in the wheel, right? And the cogs in the wheel have been worn down to the friggin' last little bit of turn. And big tech, what I call cyberism, is something where we as a community, as people, we have to understand, like, right now the simulation that's happening um, is learning how we talk, how we communicate, what we like, what we don't like, what we allow, what we don't allow. How many times you flag the fight? How many times you how many times you watch child porn or share child porn or share the fight or share this or share that? How many times you talk about that so they know, okay, these people, that people, this people. So it's really not even about them. It's the AI and these supercomputers learning that. They're trying to get to quantum, and a lot of people, oh, they're quantum. They're not quantum. They're not quantum. They're not quantum. Like, none of them are quantum. It's the goal. They're close. They're not quantum. You don't understand what quantum is. If they was quantum, you would fucking know they was quantum. They're not quantum. They're not quantum. They're using multiple supercomputers. That, for the average person, it seems quantum because you're using that's your computer. You're using your computer. They're using supercomputers, right? Commercialized supercomputers. The military has supercomputers, but in the space of why would you bow out to China? Because in that space, China has been beating the US, the Russia, etc., for a lot of years in a row. So China has had the lead in the supercomputer space for a really long time. So the bots and the fake this and the fake that, all of that shit is, they already got a head start. So the US is consistently trying to play catch up. Um, yeah, he said big tech. Yep. Had a dream, just trip set up. House Biden something online, incriminating himself. Okay. Carpet underneath your feet. See example of multiple big YouTubers. They pull a cut. Yeah. See, yeah, it's easier to, like, the space where like the space where they're trying to usher people that is here. That's why generation after generation, okay, they use the fluoride to calcify and disconnect you from, from God. The Michelangelo painting, right? If you ever, anybody's familiar with the Sistine Chapel, 16th 16th chapel, and you see the finger with God, where he has his depiction of what would be God touching the touching whoever, Adam or whatever, right? Where the finger's like almost touching. Now that painting of the hand of quote unquote, his God, or their depiction of their God, is actually um, overlaid uh, of a human skull, right? And inside of that is the brain and the human, and the God is coming from the third eye, and his hand is coming out of the third eye space. So it's a profile of a human skull, and the God is in the brain, and the hand is coming out of the third eye. Now, as an artist, again, it's pretty obvious to me, but some people might be like, I don't see it. But I'm telling you, that's what that is. So for a really long time, everybody knew that the God gene, or the God, like the soul, the eye, you know what I'm saying? Like, and all of, like, because they studied ancient Kemetic uh, uh, documents, and everything as far as dealing with man and women and birth and creation has already been written, and it's in the hieroglyphs. It's all over the place, right? Throughout our culture. But when you disconnect us from when you disconnect African Americans, blacks, Moors, or however you want to, you know, title it as, or label it as, when you disconnect that story, everything becomes a mystery. Space, regular life. How did this magically happen? Oh my God, this city they could have never built this city. No, they didn't. It was already there. That castle, most of the castles, not most, all of the castles, right, were built by more. Like, oh, I'm gonna do this before get out your ear. Um, Something simple. If somebody break this down after this, you know where it came from. The definition of Baltimore, the bolt, it's the bolt of the Moors. It's the bolt of the Moors. What was happening was the Moors were raining down arrows on invaders, and they said they were raining down like lightning bolts. So they called it the bolts of the Moors. So they was fast arrows, right? And so from that whole, if you understand indigenous people, with their arrows and from this continent to that continent to that continent, that was the original, gun before, you recreated the gun again, you know what I'm saying, with gunpowder. So the definition of Baltimore is definitely coming from black people. You understand? So it's the Moors lightning, the black lightning. So they understand that's a language in entertainment that's always going to be there. And I'm just telling you, everything that's going to happen has already happened. Everything that you think could happen has already happened. Like everything that the possibilities has already played out. Like I'm just telling you, from paradigm to paradigm to paradigm to paradigm to like it's cyclical. Like it's over. Like you're gonna keep. It's gonna be Saturday again. I'm gonna come. God willing, I'm able to come back. Again, it's cyclical. It's gonna be Monday. It's gonna be 12 o'clock. It's gonna be this. It's gonna be like it's gonna keep. So you got to know like um things that you think at like you say, yo, I want to do this at 6 o'clock. You might plan at 3 o'clock. So there's cultures that say, yo, this is going to happen in the year 2000. So I'm gonna do this so they can have that. You understand? Because they understood that consciousness, it rises like a high tide and then it goes down like a low tide. So as the consciousness right now, it was rising. And what did they do? They injected this Q movement. They injected this. They injected that. And then they had people that, as the consciousness was rising, they said, we are the banks in controlling the narrative, controlling the currency. We controlling how the rise and where it flows back into. So as they was controlling it, you was spilling, all the people was spilling into the Candace Owens. They was spilling into this guy. They was spilling into that guy and that guy and that guy. And then it's like, and they say, we control the narrative. Was able to control the currency. So culture wise, these things have already happened with different societies, different people, and all they do is, that's why if you look at any museum or you go through any history, and me just studying history and studying art and studying these things, I'm like, I think I was considered a great student for that simple reason that I understood how to make it make sense from then to now, and how to show the parallel of how it paralleled or whatever. So half of the things that you think is going to happen, like this whole digital war, that shit happened already. Like everything super digital, that already happened. Like obviously we won. You know what I'm saying? We won that. We won. It wiped a lot of people out. Had to start from scratch. It was terrible. And my thing is like, you don't want to do it again. That's where we're going. We're going to do that again. And it's like that the consciousness of that AI still exists from the war from prior. Just like the consciousness, the God conscious or whatever, that still exists. But the consciousness that existed before to do that shit and wiped out this continent and those people in that time. Because if you go to South Africa, there's places where uh, electronics just won't register. If you walk in this little bit of circle in this space and that place and that thing, and the rocks make this kind of sound and this, like all of these things that we're preparing for, possibly going to do, and they're trying to do with this and that. All that shit already happened. They already had the satellites and they had all this stuff, and it like all of this stuff played out already. So my thing is like, I'm more like, I my urgency from prior, like, yo, black people should get reparations because you take the money, and it was shifted from building that stupid shit to actually getting us out of the way. You got what I'm saying? Or getting the entire country out of the way, saving the world, getting the world out of the way of, if you keep funding that shit, because they can't tell you they got the money, but then they spend the money on that. So that's why I was like pushing, like, yo, this is, you got to say this, because you got to say the reparations, because once they say we don't got it, they can't say, well, we just spent it on. You can't say that. So now it's like, it's in a space where it's a bottomless pit of money, because it's faking and fake. You know what I'm saying? Like, and again, we playing along because the same way some people need the Bible to function and behave well, and some people need the Constitution to function and behave well. Some people need money to function and behave well. So it's just that's why we playing along. You know what I'm saying? We playing along, but in reality, like, what to do, right? What's right and wrong. You don't really need, like, I need this piece of paper to tell me to do good. Like, you ain't supposed to be raping no 5-year-old baby. You know what I'm saying? You ain't supposed to be cutting no baby open and doing all of this other stuff, or all that crazy shit that they know they're not supposed to. But I'm telling you, that's who you're dealing with. So am I looking for a magical Trump to come out of this with the Christians and all of this and that? Nah, man. Like, you don't, like, he know who he dealing with. He called it the swamp, and he already said, yo, the swamp is deeper than I thought. Like, so the people have an opportunity to have a head start on what the real problem is. The swamp is pussy. Like, the swamp is, oh, we're gonna do this, and those old motherfuckers running around trying to ordering people to do, like, if, like, it's enough people to organize and do good. The only thing, we was out organized, as far as, like, America versus United States. We was out organized, but at the end of the day, the end goal was to expose the United States to the world, right? So now you got a fucking goof as a president, a fucking goof as a vice president, a fucking goof all throughout his cabinet. You got these goofs that expose you. They represent you. They don't represent me, because that's you. You asked for that. I didn't ask for that. I said, yo, I like the whole American thing. I'm with that. You wanted this fucking goof so you can make fun of him. How the fuck does that make sense? He's a fuck up. He's a fuck up, right? Your life is on the line, right? But you're a selfish bitch, right? You a selfish bitch. You really like that stupid shit. You want the boot on your neck because you don't care about the children. You don't care about nobody but yourself because you're selfish. But me, I'm like, listen, here I am, big-hearted, trying to, let's save everybody. We can do it. But it's so many selfish people. But I'm not the biggest Bible advocate, but I'm going to say what's real about that shit is the 7 sins, or wherever the fuck that comes from, about the 7 sins, the greed, lust, envy, whatever, those 7, whatever, they're all 7 of them. That shit been around. That's a part of the human nature. Now there's a part of human nature to contradict that. There's a part to counter that, to balance it out, to understand, like, you can use envy to do this, but the cutoff points. And that's as far as, like, with the younger dudes who's coming up, and the younger people that's coming up, it's checking them. It's online, man. Like, you ain't like, walking up and bullying these. Don't try that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, don't lie. You know what I'm saying? Don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're going to share information, then be thorough with it. And the main problem now is with the adults. That's why I'm like, I'm not a child. I'm definitely not a child. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm 7,000 years old. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you ain't lying to me. Like, you're lying to yourself if you actually happy about what's taking place. Like, you're not lying. Like, the people was like, hi, you lost. Bitch, I didn't lose, stupid. I didn't lose, stupid. I won my court case. I'm out of debt. I don't have a fucking problem. You understand what I'm saying? Like, yo, no jobs? Ah, damn. I can draw still. No drawing? Okay, I can make the music. No drawing? No music or whatever. I could work a regular job. Whatever the case is. I'm saying the hell that the hell affects the average person more than it affects certain people. That's why I was like, I would rather people be good off. That's why I was happy when Trump said, okay, I know these people don't give the people nothing, but I'm going to give the people something. Out of the 24 years, Obama, Bush, Clinton, 24 years, scam, scam, scam. 24 years, they didn't give you a fucking dime. They gave you that. 24 years, they gave you a donut. 888. All of them got 8 years. 24, they gave you a donut. Now, my brother was saying, I don't know if he was on, but he was like, "Oh, what did Obama do for the white people?" He bailed out the banks when this shit was lift all of this problem up, put it on Obama, right? Now, again, he's a Leo. I like the fact that he was a Leo. He was charming. Ha 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 ha. Anyway, that aside, all of what you call that, materialistic, whatever that shit is. Like you put that aside, fam. When the problem was real for him in America, he bailed out the car companies, he bailed out the banks, he bailed out that housing shit, that housing scam that turned out to be the biggest scam on the planet. He bailed out everybody except the people. You black people didn't get a fucking dime. And black people didn't even want to say reparations. Pussies. You didn't even want to say that, right? We got that on record too. Pussies, right? Because we don't want a problem. We don't want to deal with the court. Umar, you said that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, what are you saying this stuff? Don't say this stuff, please. People making rap songs. We don't want no reparations. I'm like, what the fuck is the matter with these people? Who's telling? But I already know a lot of people be misled, scared, whatever the case is. We just seen Hank Aaron be too much of a hero. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're like, yo, my people just need to not be scared and take this vaccine. R.I.P. Hank Aaron. Too brave for me, baby. God bless his soul. You know what I'm saying? I seen a picture. I seen a little picture of Betty White, 99 years old, stayed in the home, no voluntary vaccine. This guy trying to lure us into the fucking shithole. I ain't no problem with me, brother. Just give me the thing. Brush that off. I ain't even with that energy on me. I'll take it. Not me. I'm just pretending to be him. He takes the joint. Doesn't even live to get the second one because he should have never took the first one because he was born during the Tuskegee experiment. He lived through the entire thing knowing this shit exists. But that's where sports people, entertainers, and all that other stuff. Now, I'm different, but I'm just saying, like, meaning like in that space, they be so out of touch with reality that when it's time to be real, they just be out of touch. And you be like, damn, this nigga is out of. That's why a lot of celebrities, Spike Lee, dick, wearing 1619 on his head, dickhead, 1619, fucking dick. That's like that's slavery, dummy. You don't want to fucking promote slavery. You don't want that to be your story. All of our stories, out of all the stories, you fucking trying to promote 1619. I go to Harlem, 1619, big poster, and I'm like, who the fuck is allowed? Like, come on, man. Come on. And if you don't understand what I'm talking about, we could talk about it another time. But I'm just saying, man. Let me see what the people talk about. Are you laughing? Yeah, on that empath vibe. Yo, Lovable, you've been late the past couple of shows. You worse than Keisha Cole, baby. What's going on? But I'm just happy you came through. And happy you made it or whatever. So, listen, you ain't gotta apologize as long as you're here. You made it. Jay Creed. Bonjour. Oh, you made it. Oh, you made it to see. Listen, man, it's like she's coming from France. And you know what time it is in France? It's like, what, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. She's still locked in focus. I got my coffee. I'm talking their head off right now. You know, and but I'm appreciative of any bit of time that we share. I'm grateful. All of the people in the world, don't forget, maybe it's manipulation and duality. I remember the Illuminati cards being careful. Sorry, no. Hello, yes, yeah. The Illuminati cards were like, I don't know who got access to them first or whatever, but I remember coming across them, like, again, everything by 9/11, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's why for me is like, if you're over 20, or if you're over, yeah, I'm gonna say 25, 20, 25, and you didn't wake up, it's after 9/11, like, you're an idiot. Like, you're fucked up in the head. You know what I'm saying? I'll be hearing rappers and different people like, yo, when Trayvon happened, that's when I got focused. I'd be like, Trayvon? That's 10 years, 10, 11 years after 9/11. Like, if 9/11 wasn't a wake up call for you bitch ass niggas, like, I, see, I'm sorry. That's my language. Let me pardon my French. Um, Ain't nothing to be scared of, though. Ain't nothing to be scared of, because in reality, what is it? You know, what is it's like we still got time, because the ancestors, you know, obviously, to me, this is me. This is me. I'll just say, like, um, I, even in some of my worst situations, it was like the experience that I had was to understand what to do for the next situation, and which was a glorious situation. Even today, I start my day, you know, stupid mail from this, and I got to do this. I got to, you know what I'm saying? Like, stuff that I got to do. And, you know, just little key thing. I was like, damn, like, you know, and then I was like, you know, I'm gonna just take a walk. And just a blessing just came out of nowhere. Just a random blessing. And it just changed my whole, I was like, huh, because I wasn't going to take the walk. I was just going to focus on cleaning up and getting ready. So the beginning of the show wouldn't have to been, you know, playing 17 songs and shit. but I was just, you know, it was like, I'm gonna just start getting ready or whatever, whatever. But something was like, yo, just take a walk. You know what I'm saying? I just had that energy of that. And I'm just saying that to say, like, it's, you know, like, shit is real, you know, but I know for a fact that these guys using these simulations to try to figure out what we're going to do next. They're using a computer. They said this computer should be able to outsmart all the human minds combined. And right now, a lot of people are online, and it's different conversations here, different conversations there. So they got different computers trying to use equations and simulations to figure out, you know, what we're going to do next, and how to manipulate our emotions. So I'm saying, you know, uh, do your best to not be manipulated by the highs and lows of the promises and this and that and the heartbreak and then this, and like, don't even fall for it, because that's what they want to do. It's actually hurting a lot of people. That's the only thing that I would say, like, even with a Trump, I'm like, you know, and his sons, you know what I'm saying? Because they knew ahead of time what was going down, you know what I'm saying? And they, like, you got to be straight up, you know what I'm saying? And Trump is a pretty, is one of the most honest, because now he's a politician at this point, you know what I'm saying, or was in a political space, but he was one of the most honest politicians I've ever heard, ever, you know what I'm saying, apart from Cynthia McKinney and um, Ron Paul, and it's a few others, but I'm just saying, in that space, when you know, like, you're the guy, like, you're the go-to, like, you're the go-to, like, it's not like multiple presidents, it's just you, it's just, it falls on your shoulders. I'm like, it would have been up to him to do that. Now, most of our world leaders, like in France and Holland and this place and that place, like, most of the world leaders are already sold out, already corrupt, and it's not even, it's a pure shit show everywhere. So um but it's the same program. They all going back to the same simulation. the same program. So the thing is for the people to have integrity and discipline. Integrity and discipline so they don't have to beat it into you. You understand? So they don't have to drill it into you. You don't want them to do that. Now, um, with integrity and discipline, that is where you build from. That's where you know how to filter out content that you will receive online. Because I use I can judge. That's how I judge characters. Like it's like, oh, this guy ain't got no integrity, or he's not disciplined. Meaning like disciplined enough to to do what's right when nobody's looking, type shit. So and be empathetic. Um, Meaning like have empathy for other people. Don't just friggin' be selfish. Like we all have these selfish tendencies, you know what I'm saying? As far as life, you're supposed to self-preservation is important, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm just saying like meaning like don't friggin' don't forget that, you know, what you do affects somebody else. Every thought and every decision that you make um will affect somebody else, you know, and just keeping shit like that in mind, keeping stuff like that in mind. Uh, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna tell you straight up. I cheated when you wrote in French. I actually had to like take that content, take it and put it in the Google search, and like that's the best thing about the technology. I can I can actually take a different language and translate it. Um, and I can't wait till that's simplified even more, like stuff like that, like where it's actually translated even faster. But yeah, I definitely didn't pass that class, and but I'm gonna pretend like I can read it. But I think it's love, and I just think that it's something good because your energy was good from the rip. So I appreciate it everywhere. So systematically speaking, is it time for the program US Inc. to be discontinued, or is that fantastic? Okay, okay. The US is already that's pretty much the bottom line. What winds up happening is within the years to come, like all of these countries, all of the borders, all of those things. And that's what Trump was trying to protect. Like, yo, let's keep our borders up and we can just build and, get our shit together ourselves. But what's happening is in cyberism, it's global. When you come online, you see we got people from France here, we got people from Holland, we got people from other places in the world online with us right now. When I go on different platforms, it's the same deal. People from India, people from China, people from all over the place, they're able to see the content. That is the real world that we live in today, where there can be, a screen the size of your, you know, ceiling, or excuse me, size of your wall, and you'll be able to communicate with somebody on the other side of the planet, and it's borderless, and that's in that manner, meaning um, the time is time to start focusing on regulating in a humane constitution for that space. These shitheads in the U.S. and France and all these fucking dickhead politicians, like their only last job should be regulating what's to come. What's to come, the same way the Constitution was set up to regulate these clowns today. Like they're trying to hold on to the swamp and we're going to drag everybody down and we want to chow line them and fuck them up and do this. Like none of that shit has to happen. And in reality, like, they built like that, but they not built like that. We built like that, but we not built like that. So it's like, fam, you're using people. Now, there's a lot of people that will do some fucked up shit to you, but then there's a lot of people that don't want. You know what I'm saying? Like there's enough good people. So the thing is, one person might make a poor decision, but then you got maybe two other people. Like when they knocked that man down in Buffalo, and the old man who was trying to start, like that was one guy. I'm gonna try to be a tough guy because I want to be a boot on the ground crazy man. You know what I'm saying? And when they sent security up to break up whatever that shit was, that protest or whatever, right? And when they knocked that old man down and he cracked the skull, and they realized, like, I think we fucked up. They panicked because they're children. They're like 25, 30, 20, 19. They're children, playing a role that they seen on TV, but on TV and the video games, it's not real life. Like you actually see, like, oh shit, I just hurt that old man. Like they like pick him up, dummy, and they panicked and they all like trying to scramble. Like this is not how it works in a video game. The guy, after you knock him down, he vanishes, disappears, and you move on to fuck somebody else up, or shoot and kill somebody else. But in the real world, these young men and women that are quote unquote supposedly boots on the ground, they turn their back on Biden. You know what I'm saying? They turn their back on him because, if it's fuck us, it's fuck you. You understand what I'm saying? So it's not just them. You might have a couple of loose, characters who's like all for the bullshit. The same way people are all for Biden, like, yeah, Weez did it, boss. Weez did it. You always got that character. Again, that's why they use the Clyde Burns. I got to keep rubbing that shit in you fucking dickhead's head face because, pardon my language, I just be, I relapse on my people sometime because that's some stupid shit that I seen. Um, but anyway, the point is when you have real people still involved, what they're doing right now is they're getting those big dogs ready, those AI dogs, autonomous dogs, and drones, etc., to change the battleground from people to robot on robot. You know what I'm saying? Where it's a few people, a lot more robots, because that was first done in 1991 with the stealth bomber, where the stealth bomber ended the war in Iraq before it even fucking started, right? And that was a stealth bomber that was so fast and so fucking horrifically terrible that soon as they was like, we will go to, bombs was dropped and plane was gone. You know what I'm saying? So they're, that technology from that point on has just ramped up, you know what I'm saying, all around the world. But now they say, okay, everybody has that technology now. So because, you don't have to be in those bombers. You can be sitting in your house, log on or whatever, and just, be flying these bombers all over the place. So they're like, okay, now we want to make the robots. So they're literally doing these things. So that's why I'm like, in reality, the people that's out there is like, you got a little window of, it doesn't have to be fucked up. The way Trump set up the economy, and the reason why that the American conversation is important for Holland and for France or whatever is because everything is being filtered through the US dollar and then pinged everywhere else. So these supercomputers and the programs and the deals that were made are being done in London and DC, and the three, you already know the three, you understand. So these deals still go off, what are the people ready for, what can we get away with. So just keeping that in mind, press that button, press that like button, press that like button. But keeping that in mind is just you still have an opportunity for it not to be so horrific, because the reality is they just want to transfer a lot of these cities into digits, where things are just more easy money type shit, where it's not like where it's easy to knock you off the grid, but easy to make money off of you. You know what I'm saying? Just for you walking down the block, they can make money off of every step. So they want to do these things, but I would, it behooves the people to be smart enough to realize like what need to happen is pressuring legislation apart from stopping them from this stupid deadly vaccine because it's stupid. Like, oh, we need to get rid of this amount of people. Like, you don't need to do that. Like, you just don't need to like, but it's enough people to counter that conversation. But in reality, the conversation pops up because they just didn't like Trump and they wanted to get him out so they can keep with business as usual with the child trafficking, human trafficking, and all of that shit. And again, you know, for some of these things to keep playing out and for some of these things to come to a stop, it would be on the people to start having more empathy, more integrity, and more discipline. And those simple things, it makes it easier to conversate, to communicate, to organize. And because anybody, you can go to whoever got a trillion followers or whatever the case is, you can go to any of them. But with no integrity and no none of that shit, none of it fucking matters. Because all of these guys, go like guys, girls, a lot of that, the integrity and the truth, it be missing. They know how to attack you. They know how to talk shit. They could talk to this. They could talk to that. But they be like, damn. But only if you, only if you had a brain. Like only if you had integrity. You know what I'm saying? So, um, uh, empathy. Only, that's why it's like, not about attacking each other all the time. Not about, having a common sense for basic shit. Like, not and for some generations, for some people, some communities, it just the program has been so long and so hard. Again, I was overconfident in America, but what I felt was going to happen happened. So, a lot of people who might, feel like, oh, Biden won and this and that, like, it's nothing new to me. It's nothing new to me. Like he did what he was supposed to do. He cheated, just to get in the spot. And homie knew he was going to cheat, and he should have did something to counter that. He didn't. So, but my thing is now that that's exposed, it exposed the main bigger picture. Now more people understand what these plans are. Now people can understand like what are we missing and how did we get here, right? And I think that's a highlight of this whole conversation at this point is like, what are we missing and how did we get here? How did we get swamped with all of this crap? And how did it happen? And I said, a little early on that the 2012, 2013, if the integrity of the people was there a little more, then guess what? You probably wouldn't have got here. You know what I'm saying? So, um, if the empathy, for, just because the man was Haitian, they didn't want to help him. Just because the man was this, oh, he's white. That ain't my problem. That was black people that ain't my problem. And it's like, yo, don't, what happened, even if it was staged, you don't do that. You know what I'm saying? You don't say that. Oh, he's black. You don't say that. You don't do like simple shit. And they take advantage of the simplest, they'll continue to take advantage of the simplest things. Um, I wish for the best. I hope for the best. I do my best to, I do my best, and, and hope it rub off. That's what these Saturdays are about. And, but, it's, it's a group thing. It's not like a solo thing. Like, oh, he's just a good one. And it's like, listen, I was even saying like, man, I'm trying to keep my sons focused. I got my own family. I got my own things that I got to do and so forth, so on. And, some people are like, I don't want to share, your information with nobody because they might not understand you. Or I don't want to tell them to link up with you because they might not understand you. Like, listen, I done worked with some of the dirtiest dirtbags. I done did business with the worst and I did business with the best. Like the dollar is so filthy, it's so dirty that I'm just telling you, like, I'm blessed, in a way where I'm able to, like, if it's something if it's something in a space where um uh that needs my energy, and you saying it does need your energy, but I don't want to do it because like you know what I'm saying? Like so many opportunities that should have happened and whatever people did and they stalled out and it's not because of me. Like don't ever project your fear on me. Like I'm not that one. Like if I don't understand something, I'm gonna tell you I don't understand this. Like all this shit and this and that, the shit that I don't understand, I tell people I don't understand it. They say word, they walk away and they leave me, not understanding it. And then it's like, damn, I got to get to it when I get to it now. You know what I'm saying? So, but the things that I do understand, I share. I tell you, I give you the, I try to keep it simple for you or whatever. I know everybody's not like that. And again, I'm gonna talk the head off. We're gonna wrap this shit up because I know everybody's like, probably like ran out of drink, smoke weed, drink, whatever, water, whatever, whatever. Um, Thumbs up to you. Thanks for answering the questions clearly, understanding analogies very nicely. I appreciate that. If you're awake, don't eat, no time to sleep. Yeah, okay. You said you only 4.5 hours. Okay, Trump came and brought a lot of things to the surface within the world. Yes, he did bring a lot of good things to the surface level. Yes, yes. Agree. Yes, yes. Um. Oh, okay. You get off at 9. That's where you be coming late, huh? I thought you was Keisha calling me like, yo. All the people of the world, don't forget, maybe it's meant me. Yep, I get that. Okay. So yeah, as we wrap it up. So, um, yeah, I think I like kind of like I posed that question. What did Obama do for white people? I answered it. He said, what did Trump do for black people? I can also answer that. But the brother wanted me like, wanted me to ask that question and put that. So whether you can leave the answer now or put it in the comments when you see this video later, if you make it this far, man. But my answer to what did Obama do for white people? Again, my answer would be he bailed out the banks, the car companies, the housing. Was that? What the fuck was the name of that shit? Mama something. Whatever that scam housing thing that people got jammed up in. He bailed out all of those corporations and left the people high and dry as he shot basketball in what's her name? Michelle danced. And what did Trump do for black people? Well, he pardoned when he came in. He pardoned Joe Johnson, just excuse me, Jack Johnson. He was pardoning a bunch of people. He made sure the scam was running, but he was like, "Yo, give the people something." He got the people something. He had a lot of people working. Um, he was saving children, and it was definitely something that's like it was something that was unprecedented, for a president to give a shit because all of them for the past 24 years have been mega corrupt. So that's my answer, but I'm sure he will, might want to hear you guys answer. Um, I say Biden is a reflection of the U.S. citizens. You got that, yeah. And as far as Kamala, we're gonna wrap it up with Kamala because I ain't give her a shout out this entire thing really. Kamala is a reflection of the black women that don't identify being black. You ever ask a black woman, what are you? She say she's everything except black, right? And now you got Kamala, who is everything, who's black, but everything but black. That's your Kamala. That's your Kamala. And she is, oh my God, her glowing skin, her flowing hair, her she is what we all I'm just fucking around. Um, yeah, and shout out to the young girl that threw jabs in her fucking poem at Trump. The little girl, what's her name? 22-year-old girl, Amanda Gorman, throwing jabs at Trump during the speech. Um, it was real slick talk. Now as a lyricist, I'm like, yo, this her poem was terrible. She's terrible. She's a beautiful young girl. Put in a position. She's obviously a sorority something. College graduate. In one of these sororities, put up to the bullshit, looking like, super greasy in the face and shit. Like whatever that shit was, it was just slick talk and to open up for the slime bag himself. But She is better than Maya Angelou. She is the new Maya Angelou. Do you think she's the new Maya? I think she's better than Maya Angelou. I think that poem blows anything that Maya Angelou ever said out the water. I'm fucking with you. I'm just saying that stuff because that's the shit. That's how you people are acting. That's how you're acting like Biden is actually the savior. And I'm going to say in closing, we're gonna wish him fucking well. We're gonna because guess what? We're all in this shithole planet. That corporation, not the planet is fine. The planet is good. It's the people and these people that turn this shit into corporations that are fucking with all our different nations, right? And again, that's a whole nother conversation we have about that. But we're gonna just say, as far as you know, the thing is set up for him to not fuck it up, open up, ease away from this stupid COVID scam. Y'all got the money. You can keep dumping more money. We ain't gonna get mad at you if you keep doing stimulus packages to help the people. We're not gonna get mad at you, Joe Biden. If any of his people is watching this shit and they like fuck this nigga talking about us the entire show, keep glitching this shit. Like if any of y'all watching this shit, like, watching this, we wishing you well, man. We want you not to be a fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Because even if I know some of the women think that he gonna die and Kamala's gonna be the president. I know that's what they saying. Now I don't think that. I think what's going to happen is they'll use AI before they put Kamala as the president. You know what I'm saying? I think you guys will function. You guys would do the right thing. You know what I'm saying? Now, not saying that I don't think a woman can hold a position because it's just a puppet. It's just a figurehead thing. It's not realistic. Like it's just the corporations. They're just figureheads, and obviously the corporations are running everything because you guys are not really making decisions. They're giving you a piece of paper, it's already done, and all you're doing is signing it. And another thing that you see when he walked in, he said, say hi to the salute the Marines. Salute the Marines. He's a puppet. Like they already told you, this guy's a puppet. Like he's not thinking for himself. It's all corporations. So I'm just telling you, we are wishing him well. We want him to do good. We want him to do good. We don't want him to cut more jobs. I'm gonna tell you one good thing that I think he did that might not be the best, but to me it's good with the saying we're gonna pause on fracking. Now a lot of people are like, yo, that's 70,000 jobs and this and that. That is boom, you blew 70,000 jobs. But the same conversation that I would have to people that was like pull Trump, that was anti-Trump. I'm like, when you pull that whole fracking thing out the way, when you pull that before you have other infrastructure in place to replace it, that's where you fuck up. Because those characters, those oil tycoons are tycoons and real giants, and they're real petty and they're real fucked up. Like they're the ones who killed Kennedy and this and that or whatever. So they're fucking petty, right? So when you pull their jobs and you do shit, then they want revenge and they want to fuck your shit up. So I'm saying that you don't move so fast to do stupid shit like that without other infrastructure in place. We're not in this whole shit is not cybered out yet. You understand? Where somebody can EMP it and fuck it up. We're not at that point. So the oil that we did have and that we do have, we do need to function off of it, right? And there's other things that we should have been doing, whether it's solar or whatever. Because again, I'm not going to pretend like I'm the super figured all of that shit out, but common sense says that it's doable because it was done back in the early 1800s and the 1900s and the 1700s and the 1600s, the 1500s, because all of the buildings are conductors. So the entire layouts of cities have been conductors for years and years and years and centuries and millennia. So we know that it's doable. You're playing games. You stingy bastards are playing games. You don't got to play no more games. You guys are fucked. These cyber guys, are going to fuck you out of the rest of the whatever you have. They're going to fuck you out of it, right? So you should work with the people to get this artificial intelligence in check before it fucks everything up completely. Because these guys feel like they running shit. They're not really running shit. It's a fucking AI. It's an AI. That's my spiel. That's and again, we wishing him well. We happy for I'm happy for you, mama. Do your thing, mama. We happy for you. Do your thing, Biden. Come on, man. Do your thing. I'm happy for hey, get that crime bill, fix that shit. It's you. You did that shit. You the one who ran around the nation doing that shit. Fix the crime bill, Biden. Fix the crime bill, Kamala. You fucking characters. You did that shit. You got his cabinet. He got the transgender. He got the openly gay. He got this. He got that. Those people, all those different minds, are different enough to do the right thing because you got different emotions in there. That transgender person, there's a lot of emotions in there. That, openly gay person, that's a lot of emotions in there. Now, unfortunately, a lot of them was programmed through the Rhodes Scholarship. And if you understand about the Rhodes Scholars or don't understand, there's other shows that I have that you can watch, the other lives that I give you a little more rundown on that. But again, we wishing them well. The economy is set up for us to win, for the entire world to have a nice pocket of peace. Nice pocket of peace. Like, I know the troops just went out to Syria and start doing stuff, but that's where they going is just to move tanks around and this and that, whatever we like, God, pray for all the people in that space that are left. But I'm hoping that they don't, but you know, there's enough space that has been damaged for them to play around and just, bust a gun without actually hurting no one. So I'm saying there's enough space for things to go right. No reason for anything to go wrong. No reason. They're stalling everybody out, whether it's here, there, that country, this country. They're stalling everybody out because these guys are saying by 2022 and 2025, like, because it's so much money online for them that whatever money you make, they make 100,000 times that. So, they are really enjoying this time right now. And they want to put these buildings, and they're doing a lot of construction on these new buildings. Like there's a building in New York. That shit got hit by lightning 40 times already. 40 fucking times. The power that lightning, I think they said lightning has more energy than the sun. And this shit is pulling in the power of the lightning. So, and if you understand anything about Tesla, he was trying to do that, and they actually did that. So, what are they using that energy for? What did they? Because they conduct, like, that shit is a conductor, and it's generating energy that can power the city without oil. So maybe you didn't know that, maybe you do know that, but you know it now because that's what other cities are trying to do. So when it rains and it's a lightning storm, that thing gets hit by the lightning, and it stores the energy from that lightning, and that lightning can generate enough energy to power a city for God knows how many decades. But anyway, again, talked your heads off. I appreciate you guys taking time. Yeah. The world is a big experiment. Yeah, experience. Yep, laboratory. Yes, that's right. You already know that. Will be. Election proves George Carlin's American Dream rant was. No, you already know that. Everybody knows that Carlin rant was super classic because it was so on point with the game is toasted, folks. But they don't own you. I don't have a no. That's when I hear Jordan Maxwell and Carl, like that's the part where I'm like, you gotta relax with that. They own your straw man. Be more understand that they own that straw that idea. They own that. They don't fucking own you. You think for yourself. CNN doesn't own you. Don't let them own your mind. Don't become the echo chamber for no fucking propaganda machine. CNN stupid shit. You understand? A lot of people think these are original thoughts that they be having when they say certain things, and then it's like, that's not an original thought. That's mainstream. That's propaganda. And I can tell you because I know. All you got to do, hashtag whatever you said, and then you'll see 100,000 people saying exactly what you said because it's not an original thought, meaning it was already put in. So they don't own you. They don't own you. They own the paper, the writing on the paper. They don't own you. They want to, but they don't. They can't in reality. Even if you're in no, you're smarter than that. You know better than that. Don't let nobody talk you out your freedom. That's they don't really care. Peace. Yeah, yeah, yeah. G DJ Wiz was popping. The legend is here. G Deb. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Yo, listen. Is definitely that's the secret. You know what I'm saying? That's like one of the because I seen that shit get cracked like mad times, and all you gotta do just look at any. I'm trying to think what was this documentary that you could see Tesla. That tower he was trying to build. There was a tower Tesla was trying to build to conduct the lightning, and then there was a building downtown Manhattan, the New Yorker, I believe, the New Yorker Hotel. I believe it's the New Yorker. It might have been another hotel, but he was trying to turn that building into what Larry Silverstein turned the Freedom Tower into. The Freedom Tower is freedom from the grid, is freedom from freedom from oil or any traditional methods that we use to get power, where you're independent, where you can function on your own, and generate you know your own energy and things like that. No matter who EMPs it or does whatever, you got enough to do whatever. Now that's the truth. When the fuck they tell that story, they're not going to tell that. But I'm telling you, you can look it up and you can compare and you can look. And then, because I done screenshot like 10 lightning strikes. You know what I'm saying? Tesla was looking for one. These motherfuckers got hit like 10 to 40 times. I screenshotted 10 myself. But again, that's not going to be their conversation because it's an undercurrent conversation. It's a hush hush thing, and that's why all of this shit is locked down. Why they get, you already know, like they want to have like before, they let the electric car. They wanted to make sure they got, $1 trillion before you could get $10. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what even with Trump's conversation, he said, man, they got $27 trillion. They didn't want to give you $600. He's like, give them something, man. He's like, you fucking cheap bastards. Give them something. And now you see your guy is in there and he's already talking about, and I don't know if I can do the 1400, man. But again, we root for you, Biden. Oh man, you won. You won, man. I know. You cheated. It's all right. Don't worry about it. You won. But do the right thing. That's the whole point. We just want everybody to do the right thing. Stay focused, man. Let me see. That was something. I hope if any questions or anything like that, because we kind of, already know. I like just be breezing through, freestyling through the show, unscripted completely. But there's little pieces that are clip and paste for other shit. I know the show's like 17 hours long, but it's done to make up for all the time that I don't get on. We will figure out another day to get on to go live and start breaking this shit up, breaking the show up. Excuse me. Meaning like you can talk about happy stuff, like entertaining stuff on another day. Where this will be the background, and and on the days where because as people start low tiding from political conversations because the fear of this and the fear of that. Strategically, we can have these conversations, and I'll have a different background, different thing or whatever. But we'll keep the Saturdays as long as y'all want the Saturdays. Y'all rock with the Saturdays. I do the Saturdays, and I'm just trying to figure out like another day. It might be Sunday. Who knows? I don't know. Like, but not this Sunday. Not this Sunday. I still got like all this crazy stuff that was driving me nuts earlier. But yeah. So I'm gonna sign out. I appreciate everyone who logged on. I appreciate you for taking time. I hope Is my website live? You said Royale, your website's live. The websites are live. The websites, I got them live and updated. Rawyalnews.com, RAWYAL news.com. That's live, that's functioning. And I've been doing pretty good as far as keeping it up to speed. When you see me post those little 1 minute videos, those are specifically so I can put it there, because I could put the videos there without it connecting to YouTube. But man, I be, wanting the extra clicks because I got my debt to pay with YouTube type shit. And the royalmusic.com, RAWYAL music spelled traditionally, royalmusic.com. That's up. It's up to speed, easy to click and buy any of the music that you hear on some of these intros, outros, some of the videos. I'm not holding my music hostage anymore. I've been dumping my catalog out. It's by far blows anybody catalog out the fucking water. And I don't just say that shit. Go get your grandfather, your uncle, your brother, your little cousin, whatever. I will bang my catalog against any of your favorite artists. And it's been like that since, and it's always going to be like that. That's why when I'm around, they salute me and they don't fuck around. They know I don't fuck around. I will smash them with my catalog. But instead of doing that, I'm blessing the world with music and love and cherishing that and all that other good stuff. But we having fun, and we don't got to be like that and all that. So, it's a new space. We're in a new place. And what we was on? We was wrapping it up, and I was going to play an outro song as we wrap it up, because that's where we at. And what we going to do? Yo, Wiz is like, put all that music out for sure. We gonna link tomorrow. Is that t-shirt you wearing for sale? Everything, all the shirts, all the shirts and everything. See, it's really, I'm really supposed to be advertising a 20. I'm really supposed to be advertising the 20 joint right now. I'm only wearing this one for the purple that was worn during the inauguration. So this one is specifically just for that space. This is a summertime joint. This ain't not right now. Not right now. This is the joints that's right now is the 20-year anniversary of 9/11. So the 20 is up. All the other stuff is up. The logo is up. The R is up. All of those things are up. Or for sale right now. I know. Look at me. I'm like wearing something that like my man already got on me. You're like, man, where the shit you're selling? This is me just specifically for the stars and purple. This was for the occasion. It's not. I'm sorry. I know I should be advertising specifically. At least I got the logo on, man. Like I'm not completely incompetent to what the fuck I'm supposed to be doing. Like I'm not complete. The logo's there, the shirt ain't. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm just like, yeah. Love is love, though. Yo, but we gonna sign out. Because what we got? Let's see. Yeah. On a happy note. I like this song right here.
If the rain came crashing down and the stars fall from the sky and the rivers all went dry, the sun won't ever shine till I find you, 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 till I find you.
How did it be? This shit nothing to play with. If you was a flavor, you'd be my favorite girl. You so nasty, she's my oasis. Who's my oasis? No time to wait. Wonder where the day went. You're so amazing. Each generation want the real thing, no cheap imitation. My computer love like Trinity and Matrix. Aces. Everybody know what we be. Girl with a pretty face and a better body than the T3. And a mind combined with mine, we can take DC by storm. 1600. My request in the mirror, mirror. May seem far-fetched, but it get better. So you see her, gotta hear her. Till then, gotta feel her. That's when it all got clearer. So you see her, gotta hear her. Till then, gotta feel her. That's when it all got clearer. That's when it all got clearer.
The rain came crashing down, and the stars fall from the sky, and the rivers open dry. You know the sun won't ever shine till I find you, 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 till I find you.
I am saying that the world gon' end. If that's just the real us end. Still close to my family and friends. Things fall apart, we still close to heart. We still left our mark. Cause it's love either way, like a dog that barks. Know when you close to home, it don't mean no harm. That's just the way it is till you in my arms. In the storm, you the calm, you stay on my mind. Or right by my side when it's all on the line. You the one that I find, yep, the one I need. Making everything better, let the air I breathe. Hell, I met I had hella haters. When I found you, everything elevated. Night on the town, every day celebrated. When I found you, everything elevated. When I found you, every day celebrated. So even if yeah, we gon' shine. We just fine. We gon' shine. It's like you read my mind.
The rain came crashing down, and the stars fell from the sky, and the rivers open dry. You know the sun won't ever shine till I find you, 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 till I find you.
All problems fade, all time today. Every time I lay with you, let them say what they say. I know we great, maybe we can make it true. All problems fade, all time today. Every time I lay with you, let them say what they say. I know we great, maybe we can make it true.
If the rain came crashing down, and the stars fall from the sky, and the rivers open dry, you know the sun won't ever shine till I find you, 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 till I find you.
I appreciate everybody who logged on, stayed the duration of the show. No matter whether you just got here late, or I appreciate your time. Until the next time, till the next show, next Saturday. I hope to see you. Tell a friend who the truth is. You already know what it is. Shalom, otep, peace, bonjour. That's greeting stuff. You got to teach me some other stuff. You got to teach me like how do you exit out with properly. You got what I'm saying? But either way, you already know love is love. I appreciate the love that I get in every little bit of it. Yeah, I appreciate that. Will be. Yeah. That's a man. That's the energy. You know what I'm saying? That's the you said catchy, got that funk, got that vibe. Excuse me. Just been belching the entire show. But yeah, it's a lot of joints where the catalog is vast. We take you on a journey with the catalog. I could take you, to the boom baps, and I could take you to the funk and trap, and I could do all of that stuff. And it's all there for you. Royalmusic.com, royalnews.com. I will be responsible and get the rest of the other websites. I got the pure fantastical comedy site that went viral. China owned it. They took it, and I left it alone. I did not produce any content on it. So they let it go because they thought I was going to do it for free, and that didn't happen. So they let my name go, and I just got it back for that particular content, the YouTube. So all that crazy bizarre shit will be over there, like UFO stuff and fantastical cute stuff and all that extra satire is what I would call it. But hip hop in the raw, that is the one I really need to work on, because that is the one that was generating a lot of traffic, and I just didn't have time to do that or whatever. So at some point I will have a lot of cooperation and a lot more help and a lot more people that will be like, you know what, we with it, we rocking with it, and we can actually keep all of these things running because it's really simple, man. And you don't all got to be in the same place. You could be over there, I could be over here, whatever. But at some point, um, the help will come. But until then, bear with me. We will take the baby steps, and I appreciate you making it to week number 6. Because if we make it to well, God willing, we make it to 7 on the 7th day, the 7 weeks. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot. I appreciate you. We got to think of something nice for the 7. But it was 1, 2, 3, right? It's because today January 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. Ah, the numbers. All right, peace, peace, peace. Hold up, hold up, hold up. Let me make sure I give you a shout out, Sarah Kelly, for dropping in. Oh man, yes, yes, with the languages, I'm a definitely. Oh, TikTok, Twitch platforms also. Ooh, TikTok, yes, and I gotta remember my password because I took it off the. I gotta remember my password. Twitch. I don't got the Twitch. I don't got the Twitch. My son got to put me up on that. Um, I don't have the Twitch. I'm I'm kind of like focused on building up my own platforms first. You dig what I'm saying? Because the only other one that you might find me on is not just focus on those because everything else is like it's just business. You know what I'm saying? Like all those platforms I just use as advertisement to pull you back to the website. So that the websites that I own site anyway, and you can actually leave messages. We can go live there. It's a bunch of stuff that I can do on those sites as I build up more momentum and more confidence because how they glitch me out here. I can actually at least be there and not worry about simple stuff like that. So really, hopefully, we can get there faster. But again, just bear with me and as I get my stuff together because I'm still working on it, and I will Google these words a la pro, prochaine, prochaine. I'm saying that with like 7 accents. Um, but I think that is to the push. I'm playing myself. Again, I didn't even study or pay attention in any of those classes, and and I think I passed with like a 65 and shit. And for to have a father that spoke 17 languages and shit, and I can barely get through Ebonics, and I got a box of SAT cards that we could. Never mind. Anyway, I'm like prolonging my list because I don't want to leave you guys. I don't want to leave, man. I appreciate you. Thank you. Peace.